Are we live? Is it going to be like that thing where I'm like hearing myself?
We are live.
We are?
We are.
Okay.
Yeah, we are live. We are a little delayed, but we are officially live. Yeah,
Okay.
we are live.
Okay. I just hit the thing. We're doing the thing. Okay. So do we want to wait for a couple people to show up or?
We can just get started because, I mean, it's not like they're not going to be able to go back and watch it anyway.
That is true. That is also true.
So anyone who misses it, they'll be able to see it. We're here. It's like we're forever printed on the internet.
Dun, dun, dun.
Michelle and Autumn taking over the internet by storm. The two bisexual Indians taking it over.
Well, I'm pansexual now, so.
I am sorry. I apologize.
It is all good. It's okay.
Tag team, the pansexual and the bisexual Indigenous people taking over.
Technically, we both like girls. We both like guys. I like everybody else.
I date non-binary things. Well, used to. I'm married now. I'm now on a chain.
Yes, I also am married.
But let's get this started.
Okay.
Floor is yours.
Alrighty. He honey wash day, Midgard. My name is Michelle from Thor Wants Another Letter, and today this is the first episode of OMG She's Indigenous Bookish Talks with Autumn and Michelle, and I am just so happy and excited to finally bring this to the light because there are not enough Indigenous peoples on YouTube just doing their thing, and we were both like, hey, we want this thing to change. We both want people to see and acknowledge that we exist. And so here we are doing it. And now I feel like I'm talking like Thomas, but we are doing the thing. We're finally doing the thing. A couple technological things that happened, and Autumn is great with that. So we are finally here. We are orchestrating the change, and we are putting ourselves out there. So today we are discussing Hangar 1, the UFO Files, right? Season 2, episode 5. I've been telling everyone episode 1, it's episode 5. So if you watched the wrong episode, I am so sorry. I promise I'm not incompetent. I'm bad at remembering certain things because after you have a little human, your brain just turns to mashed potatoes. But introductions. Like I said, I told you my name. Obviously, you know my name if you're here. Hi. Mm-hmm. And then I'm Lakota, Oglala Lakota, and I come from the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. And that's a little bit about me. And Autumn, you can introduce yourself.
My name is Autumn. My channel and blog is Chapter Mally Lumpkin. For those who are thinking Mally Lumpkin or Pumpkin, it's fine. It's whatever. But technically pronounced Mally Umpkin, for those who are wondering. I am Apache. I am very white passing. So, yes, that is all I know.
Yes, but Notorious Creed, you are still according to Notorious Creed and to Brett Tortoise, you are still Indigenous. And then you are still Indigenous, whether you're white passing, whether you're super, super dark, Afro-Indigenous, Latinx Indigenous, whatever.
Don't remind me of that video because, like, that video, hits so home. Oh, my God. Like, to hear someone validate you, even though you're lighter skin and whatnot, like, it blows up your world. Like, yeah. Anyway.
It's a total dish. Like, I have a crush, okay? It is a serious crush.
I won't tell a soul. My lips are
I just have a thing for guys who braid their hair.
I mean, I don't blame you.
It's just, Anywho.
Anyway, that's not what this is about.
No, it's not. Sorry. All right. Okay. So we watched the Hangar 1 episode 5. I I've been telling everyone episode 1. I'm so sorry. If you watched the wrong episode, I'm so sorry you had to go all through that because I have so many questions that are more questions than answers.
Yeah, that's
And
kind of
poor
the
Autumn had
worst.
her family wondering if she was going through some kind of midlife crisis.
Oh, never message your family members. Because if you're like me, when you don't know something or understand something, you have to research it. You have to learn and educate it until you can't go any further. So, not only did I do some deep diving with my spouse, but then I like contacted all my aunts. And they were very clueless and confused on what was happening and was like, "Are you in trouble? Are you having a midlife crisis? What what's going on here?" And then that somehow spread to my mother and father, and then I got messages from them. I'm still waiting for the hammer to drop of my uncle being like, "What you doing? What'd you get yourself into? Go run 20 laps and sweat it out. What's wrong with you?" Waiting for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying so hard to so every time something new was brought up, I was like instantly just like doing the Googles, you know. And so the beginning of this episode starts out about a young Blackfoot Indian and the medicine man Old Man Wolf, which I've never heard a medicine man being called Old Man Wolf or like Old Man anything, you know? They're always just like an old Catholic name like George,
Yeah.
or like you don't even know their name. You
It's
have to go up into the mountains and you arrive at some guy's trailer and that's all you know. You don't even know where they live. They don't even have the address.
when I first heard that, I was instantly hit with stereotypical Native American. Because I believe I mentioned this in my interview with Stephen Graham Jones. Like with a lot of white movie directors of like old Southwest movies, you get names for like various Indians that have similar names. It's kind of a stereotypical type thing that they have some part of their name has like an animal in it, like little bear or like little wolf or something of the sort. And I'm not even going to go on a rant.
Oh, you totally could go on a rant if you wanted to. We'd be here all night.
Yeah, we would be here all night. We would be here all night if I did. It's so stereotypical, and to me personally, like it's demeaning, especially like if you come from like a clan that's named after an animal, and then to like do that, that's kind of like slapping the culture, the beliefs across the face. And I'm just the entire time I was just like, this is a choice.
Because it's like,
Why
do you
did you
know
think this was
any other
okay?
Native American person who has an animal name in their name? Unless it's a last name? I don't. I don't know anyone named Coyote or Badger
Yeah,
or Fox. You know, I don't know anyone with that name.
yeah,
It's all
uh,
like nature names
yeah.
or something like that, you know?
It,
Oh, that too they use is like nature names like river or canyon or what's the word? You know, like a tree, something like that, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. It,
So,
it's just kind of like a slap in the face to not only the way Indigenous names are, but the folklore, the legends, the culture, the heritage. And that's just like the very tip of the iceberg that is this episode.
oh yeah. And so the only reason why I was like, hey, we should watch this is because the question said, why are Native American reservations a hotspot for extraterrestrial activity? And I was like, why are they?
That's a great question
It is a good
because,
question because, well, see, the thing is, it's not just extraterrestrial activity, but it's also like supernatural activity. because we've
Yeah.
all heard stories when we were younger of like, you're driving down a road and you see a man walking, and then you turn around, you look, and he's not there.
Yeah.
I know at least some kind of Native American has heard of story about tall man or Wanugi, or you're not allowed to whistle at night. So I was like, I could watch this, but it talked about nothing that I thought it was going to be about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Autumn. You were like, oh, I'm about to show you all the tea.
I'm a firm believer of logistics and scientific things being proven through science. And the thing that bothered me the most was throughout this entire episode, especially when they're talking about the four corners and how anything where like these four corners come together and they do all this. The thing that bothered me was they were, what was it, like magnetic waves or kinetic waves or something, and
Electromagnetic pulses or waves or
the
energy or stuff like that.
entire time that they were talking about that, I was sitting here like, show me the charts.
Honestly, I was today years old when I figured out what the four corners were.
Well, I don't think it's that common knowledge, because what was once the four corners, I mean, it's still technically the four corners, but I don't believe the Apache tribes inhabit the four corners anymore. If anything, correct me if I'm wrong, if there's anyone who's Navajo in the chat right now or anything, the Navajo reservation takes up like most of those first two states. So it's not even like true Apache territory anymore. I believe
Yeah,
a lot of more
New Mexico, Arizona, that area.
I believe like the Apache reservations are more down in Arizona and New Mexico, at least according to my friend, because she's constantly making trips back and forth from the reservations. So my thing is show me the fucking charts. And now I'm getting you demonetized because I'm swearing.
I'm not even monetized, yo. So
Like,
anything goes here.
I just the entire time, show me the charts. Show me the scientific charts. Better yet, get people actually out in the field testing this and showing what the equipment's picking up. Because when you can do that, okay, then I'll start listening to you.
Yeah.
And here's another thing while we're on this topic, because it bothered me so much. And not to like deviate things away from you. You have one Native American person who's actually talking about this. Oh no, that's not even the worst part. You're going to hear him constantly say Hickory Apache. It's Hickoria. It's Hickoria Apache. No one who is Apache, no matter where you're from, is going to say their tribe name wrong. No one's going to do that. They're not going to pronounce it wrong.
Yeah, I was wondering that too, because I was writing it down. I went back and I turned the captions on. So I went back and I was like, who the F is Alan Tafoya? I looked at Alan Tafoya. He's an actor, y'all. He's an actor. And I was like, so why are they saying Hickory Apache? Hickory when there's the ILLA at the end.
Yeah. I think people forget that the Spaniards came up through Mexico into Arizona and New Mexico, and they ended up attacking the Pueblo. And there was a lot of conflict with the US government and then the Spaniards trying to wipe out the main trade for the Apaches, which were the Pueblo. And I think people forget about that because a lot of Native Americans adopted a lot of language from the Spaniards who are more like in that lower area. So when you see the way it's spelled like JRCHILLA, I believe. That's probably wrong. I'm not even looking at it right now.
Isn't it JICARILLA?
Yeah.
I did write it down. We got a whole thing.
Yeah. And so, as an English speaking person, you automatically go to trying to pronounce the J. But that's not the way it sounds, because they adopted a lot of language from Spaniards. So you see that the way was it the double L's kind of end up as Y's in the Spanish language,
Yeah.
I believe, and then the way J's are pronounced in Spanish are normally as an H. Yes, yes. Am I remember that? Yeah,
I think
I think
so.
that's correct. Yeah, so it's hickorea and not hickory. So that also that like.
And then so he's an actor. And
Mhm.
then they called this whole thing was just bonkers to me because he also called Native American and alien interactions is intimate. What the does that supposed to mean? The whole thing
It
sounded
sounds like you're
absolutely
going into
bonkers.
special things. Mhm.
Yeah, and then
Yep.
so
That.
they mentioned Sago Canyon in Utah, and yes, there are like rock paintings out there, but I mean, I could see like a religious history channel appropriating this part and be like, were angels a part of Native American text and folklore? You know, because of the way
Mhm.
that they look, they do kind of look angelic. I don't think they
Yeah.
look like aliens. They looked more angelic. So I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know about that, buddy.
Yeah. That was another thing. Um, I just couldn't wrap my brain around why they were interpreting a lot of the hieroglyphs and stuff as aliens, because to me, like, I believe there was like one segment where it specifically showed a smaller being and then a larger being, and to me, like, if I was more religious and more invested in religion, to me that's like a person coming to their god in a
Yeah,
sense. Like, I would interpret it in that way instead of the more extraterrestrial method. So it
because it kind
kind
of looks
of.
like a big dark circle and then like lines around it. And so that's why I was like, that kind of looks more like angelic in nature because of the way wings are.
Yeah.
Your boy Alan also said many Native American, in the most like, no offense, but like in the most stereotypical accent ever, many Native Americans believe them to be our ancestors. And I'm like, no, we don't. Like, I have never heard any of my families like talk about aliens in such a casual manner. It's always like
I'm.
supernatural entities, you know, like tall
Yeah.
man or Bigfoot or ghosts or
Loch
what
Ness
we call
Monster.
like G-Man. You know, it's just like
Mothman.
supernatural entities, not aliens. I've
Yeah.
never heard
And
any
that's
of
kind of why, like I said, don't like message your family about this, asking for more details, because then they will literally assume, like,
she
you're
going for
having.
it.
Yeah, like, I'm not kidding. Like, when I say I started diving into this stuff, like, you can literally look it up. So when you Google it, the first thing will be like a wiki page, and it will literally tell you it is a new age belief.
Oof.
It is a new age belief. This is not something that was actually believed by like our elders or people of like our parents' generation. It
Yeah.
just, like, it's non-existent. And when you ask like those who grew up with like the traditional heritage and the culture and whatnot, they literally will look at you, or as I mentioned, they'll be like, "What are you talking about? Are you okay? Is everything all right? Do I need to like come down there?"
They
Like,
think you're in some stuff.
yeah, like they think you're in some trouble. And the fact that all of my aunts responded that way, and all three of them grew up very heavily in the tradition of the culture and the heritage of the tribe. So, and the fact that they have no idea what you're talking about, like there's even, if you really dive deep enough, you can actually find individual statements from actual native people being like, I don't understand what these people are talking about. All I know is it's on the History Channel, on the TVs. Like you find statements like that.
Yeah. I also found it funny when they were talking about the farmer and his wife or whatever when he shot the alien tech and it sounded metallic and I was like, "Oh my god." And then this is what I found to be so funny. So that something about hostile faces and I was like, so I guess even aliens don't like the white men, eh? Because they were talking about how they saw a dark military helicopter with no markings or insignia and it was like, so the men in black.
You you want me to give my response to that?
If you want to.
I think a lot of people forget that the fact that there are a lot of reservations actually near military bases, actually like out in the more plains areas in the West Coast, there are a lot of testing areas where the military does test like various equipment, we'll call it. I confirmed it with my spouse who served in the military that's what they do. Like they have specific areas out west that where they test these equipment. So it wouldn't surprise me if you see things that are like that, but 9 times out of 10 it's things that the military are testing. So if there's like something you see flying over like a reservation or maybe you're in a town or something walking and you see like marks up. It's probably new equipment that's being tested on whether or not it meets up to military standards. And I think a lot of people forget this or aren't even aware of it because who's going to be in a conversation? Who's going to sit in a cafe or at home and just be like, so you know, the military is out there testing all these things and like no one talks about that. People
Yeah.
want to talk about the recent show they just watched, or, oh my God, did you hear what Betty said to Karen today? Like, you get conversations more like that. Or, what do you want for dinner? Oh, well, we should do lemon chicken with green beans and rice on the side. Well, I don't want to do something like that. I don't know then. You get conversations more like that. It's not going to come up in like the everyday conversation. The only way you would actually get conversations like that is if you have family members who are in the military or you're in a relationship with someone who is serving or has served. So,
Yeah, my husband is a, I don't like to say former or ex, he is a Marine. He's just not, in the thing and he's not just doing this stuff anymore.
a
But
veteran.
yeah, we've had those conversations where they're like, people don't realize how much stuff the military
Yeah.
is doing. And I don't like, there's so many different conspiracy theories. Like, I don't know. Like, I do like the idea of a Men in Black thing, but honestly, if it was a Men in Black, do you really think they'd show up in a helicopter? No.
No.
They show up in like the dead of night and question you. Boom, somebody goes missing. Bam. It's the end of that little story. So I was like, and then my favorite part is when your boy, Equits, or whatever the frick his name is, says, it just goes to show that for some Native Americans, star people are allowed to their land, but the U.S. military is not. Wow, I wonder fucking why.
I have this conversation so often that I swear if my blood was lava, it would have boiled my skin off my body and disintegrated my bones. Why do you think people on the reservations are so unwelcoming to outsiders? Last I checked, the only time they really allow people onto the reservations is if you are there for educational purposes. Otherwise, the only way you really get to experience the culture is by going to public powwows that are not cut off from the public.
Yep. Because it's like right now here in South Dakota, since COVID happened, you are not allowed to touch Cheyenne River Tribe's like
Territory.
soil at all. Um, I've had family that's come through there and they have to turn right back around and go through
Mhm.
like a what is the word? A detour. So it's like they don't want you here, you know? Why would we want the US here or there?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It bothers my mind because it's why I do kind of chalk it up as a pride thing on why we don't always allow, because we've had so much stripped away from us. We are still having things stripped away from us.
We can't even get representation on BookTube.
Well, damn,
So
Michelle, I didn't know you wanted to go into that kind of tea.
I'm sorry, people are not ready for that
But
conversation.
no, they're really not. But I can't even begin to express how many times I've heard well, Native American people seem so unfriendly and so unwelcoming. Well, why do you think, Karen? Why
Also,
do
this
you
is
think?
just my face. Like I could sit there and just I'm having fun. I'm having a good time. This is just my face.
And someone
I'm
will say something's wrong.
I'm not mean. It's just my face. This is
Mhm.
just how my face looks. This comes from eons of ancestors of
Mhm.
people. So,
Yeah,
and it's just like
I
we've had so much stripped away from us. There's so much erasure in the Native
mhm.
American communities from other people, even in your own thing, like you were talking about being light skinned Native, where a lot of people will be like, well, you're not really Native because you don't do this, or you don't, like me personally, I don't know how to bead. So they're like, you're Native that can't bead. What do you even? And I'm like, well, I know how to
Yep.
make subpar fry bread, so I got that going for me.
Exactly. Like, shit. That's opening a whole other can of worms.
And
Um,
Native Lady Book Warrior said, so much of our sacred knowledge has also been exploited and used for personal gain,
I
trust
mean,
broken over and over again. And you
okay,
always got some white man that's like wants to know all the stuff. And it's like, no, we don't want to show you anything because you're
okay,
going to
crap.
write about it in a book or you're going to put it in a movie or a TV
Yeah,
show. Like, no, GTFO, man.
we're gonna crack open that. Like I've already mentioned this to you, Michelle, and Bethany from Beautifully Bookish Bethany has already publicly made the statement of when we're having the live show. But I'm going to be guest starring on a live show with Bethany, and we're going to be talking about what Stephanie Meyer did to the Quileute tribe. And prime example, look at that. And one of the main things that no one wants to acknowledge is one of the best but worst things that any person could do is bring light to a tribe. Because the minute you do that, the minute the spotlight hits that tribe, the way you execute that representation impacts that tribe. I can't begin to express how many interviews I have actually sat down and watched of people from that tribe go into conversations of how they had to explain their folklore, their legends, and their myths, and explain the whole entire wolf clan. And it's so disheartening because you look at someone who's become so successful off of a book series, who now has a new book coming out. Was it Midnight Sun? This
In
this
August.
August, who's profits so much from adding Native American representation into her books, but yet here's the thing, she couldn't even properly execute it.
Exactly.
She took folklore and legends and culture and twisted it into her books and profited off it.
Yeah. And it's crazy because not enough people do interviews and you know, like using Alan, what's his face, as the token Native American. It's
If
like,
you're gonna
what?
do that, at least bring in an interpreter or something so they can properly say the name of the tribe. It's
Mhm.
Hickorea, not Hickory.
Exactly. So that was just bonkers to me. And then the other question I had was, I wonder if the videos that were, the 5 second little
Mhm.
clips that were used, are those from actual accounts from other Native Americans? Because low key, if I'm up on the res and I'm just, chilling, doing my thing, visiting with grandma, eating some fried bread, there's no way in hell I'm going to pull out my phone and then point it at a UFO. There's just no effing way. I'm going to sit there and be like, wow, I'm never telling anybody about this. Because, like, then you have, the men in black, and the next thing you know, you disappear. Nobody knows where you are. No one knows what's happening. You get kidnapped. Go ahead.
I For those who didn't know, Michelle and I have talked earlier today, and I kind of ranted about this. And once again, like this kind of ties in with what I said earlier about logistics and scientific explanation. Like, if you can show me the proof, well, that gives me a cause to believe you. So the same thing goes with authentic statements. So my thing is you have all these people in the show, on the episode and whatnot, and you have one person who's supposed to be the token Native American. Well, here's my thing. If you are actually a good source show, where are your other witnesses? You're giving me all these encounters. You're not actually pulling out files. You're showing us clips of pulling out files, but you're giving us one person who's supposed to be the token Native American,
And he's an actor.
and he's an actor, can't even say the name of the tribe right, but
And then,
all these statements.
and even like the video clips of like the actual like saucers and the orbs and stuff, it's all from like the 90s and whatnot. It's like, did you guys,
Yeah.
I mean, like aliens didn't just stop hitting Earth at the 90s, right? And
Mhm.
then, so the 1964 Yakima, Washington, it
Yeah.
pans into the next sequence. I think there's like 4 or 5, like 3, 4 sequences, something like that.
Yeah.
And it talks about Lewis Cutts, Gladys McDaniel, and Dorothea Sturm, of them being like the watchwomen of
Mhm.
the tribe, and these nightly occurrences that happened. This is when it gets real bonkers, because so they kept seeing this, and one of them, she was like, come back, and then it comes back, and I was like, what? I Um, and so I actually looked it up. I looked up Lewis Cutts, Gladys McDaniel, and Dorothea Sturm, and it relates back to a post on some website about them. And this was in 1964, and it puzzled them so much that they called on J. Allen Hynek, who is a ufologist and astronomer,
Mhm.
and they called it nocturnal lights. He was a skeptic and often debunked things. So, like, why ask a guy if he's just going to debunk it?
Yep.
And so, she was I guess one of the women was trying to hear it, or no, it pans into this other guy, Bill or whatever, where he was sitting in his pool and he looks up and he's trying to hear the lights, but they're silent.
Yeah.
You have something to say on that?
It As I said, it bothered me so much because, like, once again, like, show me proof. Show me the graphs. Give me actual witness statements.
I
Don't
thought they would
be
at least
some
have a
person
chart.
in a suit. Don't be a person in a suit. Clearly, I can clearly see you reading from a script on a screen. Like, don't give me that placid face because you're trying to focus on reading something. Don't give me that. Show me the proof. Show me the graphs. Show me the evidence. If you can't give that kind of proof, I'm going to call you out on it.
And then we go back into the Four Corners and why there's such a hotbed for activity. And the part where, so I didn't know what the Four Corners were. So if you're today years old and you don't know what they are, it's New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, and Utah. Just found that out today. I promise I was paying attention in geography. I'm just,
well,
my brain is not completely.
they don't even really teach it in geography. Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't know how it is for most schools, but like, I've never in any geography. I swear I can speak English. I swear.
I promise.
Promise. Geography. I've never been in a geography class where they've actually talked about the Four Corners. Like, we just won't get into that's because that's another can of worms we don't need to open.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's a lot of Native American history that has not been discussed in education, but we should probably touch on that in a future expedition here.
Yeah.
So, and then it starts to go into the electromagnetic thing about could these possibly be refueling stations? I was like, what?
Why?
Okay, if the aliens are showing up here, why are they coming to the reservation for and that was the big question, like, why are Native American reservations a hotspot for extraterrestrial activity? I don't know. You haven't told me anything yet. I don't know, man.
Exactly.
And it's an attraction for UFOs. And then it goes in, and so I looked up a little bit, and then I brought up what Anasazi were. According to the Navajo, they were called ancient strangers and disappeared suddenly in 1380. And I did some more research, and that was according to like some stuff that happened, and then they had to go back in the canyons or something like that. But then they tried, like a lot of sites try to make that seem like a alien thing, and I'm like, why?
It's not. It's. I'm trying to explain this in a way where it's not going to actually like offend people who grew up in the culture and the heritage and whatnot. So when you actually look up Apache and Navajo culture, they're almost referred to as like cousins because the cultures are kind of similar. Not quite, but like when you look at how the way they house themselves back in the older days and whatnot, it's very similar. And when you go up and more to like Utah and Colorado and whatnot, like those are more Indians, Native Americans who like I want to say they were like the cliffs. I don't want to say they were like caves, like a cave overhanging, but most of them were like up more in the mountains where it was more secluded and up out of the desert. So I
like
can
an encroachment.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like if you're going to talk about that stuff in a show and whatnot, like actually dive a little bit into that history. Oh, because you're like the History Channel.
And they showed us like there were clips of like pictures of like things like that. But I was just I think the next totally bonkers thing that they go into is an account from, I think it was a woman, where they were praying for the cancer to be taken away. And then the alien comes down. Oh wait, no, we forgot to talk about the little girl and her grandfather. I forgot to mention that one
in the beginning.
You kind of in the middle there
with the leather and whatnot. You forgot to talk about that.
I did. Yes, I did. I'm so sorry. Just interrupt me at any time. Because like there was a part where they're looking outside and the little girl is scared and her grandfather puts a hand on her shoulder and he goes out there to talk to the aliens. They get in their vehicle and boom, they like bye. And that was something I was like,
Yeah, that kind of threw me off as well. Like, I would stay, a logical person would stay in their home or report it to like the res sheriff.
and yeah, and then
Something.
where like he was relieved, almost happy. I was like, never in the history
No.
of any of my family have I ever had them say like, yeah, one time an alien showed up at our house. I went out there, we had a little talk, a little chat, and then they left. It was a good visit. Never. Never. So I was just like,
I would either have my phone out recording the whole thing, or I'd be like, okay, where can I hide? Because this isn't normal. This isn't. No, not today. Not today. Yeet! Yeet myself on
seriously,
out.
I'm out. Bye. So
Bye.
yeah,
Nearest window.
Autumn, did you know that we could summon aliens?
I did not know.
Yeah.
Let me quickly draw a summoning circle.
Ah!
Let's see if it works. Oh no, I summoned the wrong thing. Get the sage.
Yeah, and so apparently this alien took the person's cancer away. And it was right around that point when I just stopped listening because I was like,
What are you smoking?
why would they want to like what? And oh, I love how they mentioned that Alan, our good old boy Alan, was trying to equate that we pray to the aliens, to the sky god to take our pain away. And we look to them for guidance.
You know, I was kind of trying to bleach it from my memory because, like, after he said the tribe name wrong, I was just like, nope, anything he says is invalid. Bleach. But, like, now it's all coming back. I'm like, oh, God. It's here. It's here, and it hurts. It hurts. I can feel it. There's a knot forming right here. Is that a vein? Is there a vein? It. Oh.
Yeah, so
If they would have had him say rituals, ceremonies, I would even go as far as, I don't even know if I want to say it because I know there's been like some controversy around it. And anyone jump in, feel free to like be like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Alan doesn't know what he's talking about, man.
Or like the Sundance, like the Sundance. Like if they mention something along those lines, I could be like, okay, let's see where this is going. But like,
Given the fact that there is literally no mention in either of our families, I don't know if this is in any other culture, but like we don't talk about aliens. Aliens is not like we're not best friends with the aliens. This is more so of like,
it's like,
you have that one grandma or an uncle that's had a supernatural experience, not an extraterrestrial experience, a supernatural experience with like ghosts and shit, not like
yeah,
aliens.
yeah, I've
We
had
all have a ghost
more.
story.
Yeah, I've heard more so along the lines like, how I'll even throw this out there for all who are watching. Like, I've even had some weird encounters of things that I can't explain with science or logic. I can't explain it. But it's never been like extraterrestrial
Yeah, we're not
or
like a bring your
beings
own beer
from,
party with aliens.
yeah, I've never encountered that. And the fact that all three of my aunts are like, where is this coming from? What are you talking about? I don't understand. Are you in trouble? Are you doing drugs? Don't go down the beaten path. Don't do that. Don't be like so and so. Like the fact that they're being like that, I'm just like,
Well, the History Channel told me otherwise, Auntie.
I'm like,
So
but the History Channel
not
said
weird.
this. My spouse chalks it up to since History Channel sold out, new people took over, is why there's so much questionable material on their
Remember that one
show.
guy that his hair was all messed up and he was talking about aliens? So they just let anybody talk about aliens, especially your boy Alan.
It also really bothered me because I don't even remember his name, but it was the more plus size man with the glasses and the white hair. They had him labeled as a UFO witness,
Bruh, I
right?
didn't even know what his name was. I didn't even jot his name down. He was
Yeah,
irrelevant. He only
but
talked
like,
like 4 times.
circling back, like you had him on there and you had him labeled as a UFO witness, but yet he never talks about his own experience.
He only said like 4 words. Same with that woman. They had her cut in like once or twice.
Oh,
Like,
God.
what are you guys actually doing here?
Trying to throw together.
Like, they're spending some good money on these graphics, on these visuals,
Yeah.
on this 3D imagery. Now, if they put it towards something that, actually fucking mattered, then maybe we could get some leeway here.
Yeah. Or
But you
like, oh, I don't know, actually be educational.
But so far, you got your boy Alan saying that, that we pray to aliens that they can take your cancer away, that you can summon them. Like, never have I looked up at the sky, seen like a weird light, and been like, hey, you should get me McDonald's.
As I said, like, circling back around to like what I said, show me the graphs. Give me the actual people who can actually state what they experience. Because to me, the fact that you can't do that, the fact that you can't just whip out a file, whip out a video, whip out all the cards, whip out witnesses left and right. Because if I was a witness, here's the thing. Okay, you say you have a car crash, right? And you have 10 cars who witnessed the car crash. You're going to get 10 different stories. You're going to get 10 different people who want to talk about that. And you can't say that's not true because at that freaking picnic or that corporation picnic or whatever that you're happening, these people are going to go there and they're going to be talking in small talk and they're going to be like, so on my way here, I encountered this terrible car accident. Oh, yeah, it was like a 5-car pileup. You're going to get various stories. So when you have something like this, it benefits you and it benefits the viewer to bring in the witnesses, whipping out the files, whipping out actual video, whipping out actual photos. It benefits you so much more than trying to just pull it out of your buttocks.
Well, because all I saw was like them pulling out the files, but you didn't see them actually like
Opening it up.
actual files, like
It was
actually
like
flipping through anything or like pointing at graphs or anything. It was all just like clips of this or that or this or that. And it was just like, I'm disoriented. I also wanted to bring up my favorite part because they actually mentioned the Lakota people and how they believe that aliens were meeting up with Lakota medicine men to teach them and show them how to use their earth and how to use the herbs for medicine. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? This is not happening. This is ridiculous. And so this episode's plot was all over the place. It was like, so what are you actually trying to say?
Yeah.
And then my favorite part was your boy Alan saying like,
he's not my boy. I don't know him. Nope. Yeet
So
myself into a barrel. Throw
he
myself
went on
in
a
my
whole
grave.
tangent about how we're supposed to protect our Mother Earth. That the aliens came down. The aliens came down to show us to Michelle, after you summon them, tell them I need another bluebird flower. Ooh, somebody be making some fry bread. Make me some, okay? Please.
Don't
Please.
I haven't had fry bread since I was like 11, 12 years old. I'm 26 now. It's
My
been
grandma was a fry bread queen.
like, I want some fucking fry bread. I haven't had fry bread in so long, man.
If I could be better at it, I would send you the recipe. I'll get my mom's recipe and I'll send it to you.
I would even take subpar fry bread. I just missed so much. Like, I haven't seen my aunts in like.
There's this one video that is on YouTube of a woman making fry bread. She's from like, I think she's from like Rosebud or something like that. I think I sent you the link once.
Yeah, you did send to me. I have that bookmarked. I'm like, we're doing this.
But you gotta feed a bunch of people if you're doing that, okay? Like a bunch, because the bowl is like
huge.
It's like,
I mean,
way bigger than I can show you.
It's better than my one aunt's recipe because it takes her, God, the last time she made it, it took her like 30 some hours. And that was like the last time she made a batch. She's like, you can't do it when you're angry or sad. You gotta do it when you're having a clear mind. And I'm like, but my mind's like a beehive. And she's like, well, turn it off. Smoke them out. I'm like, okay.
You just gotta make it with love.
Yeah. That's like what all my aunts say. They're like, you can't.
My dough, and I'm like, somebody's gonna eat this, and they're gonna do a happy dance, and it's gonna come out so good. And then I do my oil, and it comes out looking brown AF, and not even that looking good. And I'm like,
you would love me because I would like eat that. I would like eat that, and I would just be like, like every time like we make mac and cheese, I'm just like.
Mac and cheese, making my mac and cheese.
Yeah, except like when I'm up at like 3, 4 in the morning with like a blanket tied around me in the dark, lit by candlelight and nightlight, and stirring a pot of mac and cheese.
You have to bake it, right?
So good when it's baked.
If you don't bake it, I don't know what you're doing with it.
If you're ever out here like this way, you would love my mac and cheese. 7 type cheese. Nice crunchy goodness. I prefer using
hearing that.
I prefer using croutons, but like my spouse likes crackers, so we kind of like do a mix up of like both. And we'll put them on and bake it. And then when we bring it out, we top it with some more cheese.
Yes. That sounds delicious.
It's so bomb. It's like a party in your mouth. Oh, we're getting off topic. So,
we just spent 10 minutes on fry bread. Good Lord. Oh, my favorite part of the sentence, my favorite part of the episode, the last little bit of it. Could their sacred lands provide sanctuary and portals to other dimensions? Where is this portal? Because I want to leave.
Yeet. Yeet.
I want to go.
Oh, that was my foot. I don't blame you. I think anyone would be like, where's the nearest exit? Oh, like.
He said, I gotta do a video for our Twitter group, Tortillas Tea. I got you. Oh my God.
I freaking love you.
I'm drooling. You can't see it, but it's all up in my mouth.
I'm like trying to contain myself. Oh God. I think if there were portals. Well, first off, when I heard him say that, I was like, so what, this is D&D now?
When you roll a natural 20. No, actually, no, you rolled a nat 1 because you can't leave. I was like, I'm sorry, what?
I heard that and I was like, so we're in D&D now. Cool, got it. Where's my dragons?
They're in the portal.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, we forgot to. This ties into one of the women saying that it's like a gas station. Like,
Oh,
so the
God.
reservation is a gas station
So
for
basically,
aliens.
I hate that. And I know hate's such a strong word, and I try to not use the word hate, but like when I hear that, and I don't know how it was for you, but like when I heard that, I was like, so basically what you're saying is the reservations of the native people are just you can take and constantly refuel yourselves and everything outside of the reservations. But then when it comes to actually dealing with what's happening on the reservations and doing something to make it better, it's like, what?
Aliens, where are
Reservations?
you at? Where are you at, aliens?
Indigenous people? Who?
What are you
What?
doing to help us out?
It it bothers me so much because it's such a common reference. It's such a common reference in movies and books. I've heard more so recently, I have heard people refer to Native American reservations, indigenous land even, just being there as a resource for modern day society. And it makes me so sick. It makes me so horribly sad. It's like the giant slap in the face. It's like someone got a 20-foot long paddle, wooden paddle, and decided to like pimp slap someone across the face.
Yes.
And then try and be like, whoopsie daisy.
Bitch, what? It's like, well, if the aliens want to show up, at least we have our sunflower seeds and pickles and our soda. At least we can hook you up a little bit. Just give us a little bit of leeway. At least give us some weapons before you show up. And
Or
then
like
they made a whole correlation to like, is this why they show up on reservations rather
actual,
than to deal with the threat?
or
Like,
like,
you really think the white men are a threat? They're more of a threat to everybody else than they are to aliens.
ain't
Like,
that
I
the
swear,
freaking
if the
truth?
aliens are real, if y'all are real and any of you are watching this, please come down and just get rid of everybody else except for, like, the cool people.
It's, I don't want to say it's exhausting, but like it really is. Like that's the truth. It's exhausting because you see these stereotypes or like these references, and like if anyone like without the common knowledge of like reservations and whatnot watches something like this, like they would think nothing of it.
Yeah, no,
Like,
some people would see that and they would just take that for gospel. Like, oh yeah,
yeah,
the Native Americans, they call aliens the star people. Did you know that? And there's some, of course, there is some fake white. I am 1/16th Cherokee. My grandmother was a Cherokee princess out there being like, yeah, we call the aliens the star people. Like, no, Native Americans cannot summon aliens. Okay, we cannot summon them. there is no communication.
Yeah.
If they're using us for a electromagnetic pulse, electromagnetic resources, if they're using us for that, that's new to me.
Yeah.
And yet your boy Alan just
He's not my boy. He a hack.
not your boy. I mean, like, the History Channel really picked one. Let me tell you what.
It's that white passing being like, nope, I don't recognize him. Nope. It's that white passing
I don't
growing up
see
with
anything.
the common white man, whatnot, coming through and being like, I recognize my privilege, but they're not one of mine. I don't stand with this person.
Yeah, exactly. And they just like stood there, like, and this is all of them just sitting down talking at the camera.
Yeah, you can clearly see it. You can clearly see it.
And it
Or
had
like,
like blue background faded in the back. So it's like, oh, he
mhm.
looks like he's in a boardroom or he's like sitting
But
on
it's
a
not.
couch.
Like, I don't know if we actually mentioned this in the live, but if you actually try to look for the Hangar 1 UFO Files hangar, it does not exist. Like, there is a company by the name that they use in this episode, but the hangar itself is non-existent.
I
It
think it
doesn't
was called,
exist.
it's called MUFON,
Yeah, move on.
which I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means?
I don't even know either. I know, like, right after the episode ended, my spouse, like, an hour or two later, like, ended up doing some deep digging and was like, hey, just so you know, the hangar for this doesn't even exist. So there is, like, an actual unit by the name of, like, MUFON who does specialize in, like, UFOs and stuff like that. But the actual hangar itself is non-existent. They do not have, like, a warehouse or a hangar with files and equipment and stuff. It's non-existent.
See, and where it completely 1000% lost me, because like I was just laughing at this point at the part where they were talking about the black helicopter, the unmarked helicopter. I was like, so they're just sitting there watching this happen, and then as soon as it goes out, and then of course because the military helicopter showed up, then they call like the local authorities. It was not when the aliens showed up; it was when the
British.
military showed up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, um, I don't remember. I know. It's fantastic. I love Wheezy. Wheezy, is that how you summon them? Because if so, let's have a party. My thing is I forget the exact words that my spouse said. For those who are just tuning in, my spouse did serve in the military. My spouse is a veteran. Because reservations are governed differently compared to like everything outside of the reservations. If like the FBI or like the military just suddenly showed up on a reservation, they have to talk with the law enforcement on the reservation before they can even enter the reservation. It is a conflict between two unequal powerhouses.
Yeah.
But still, the law enforcement on the reservation has to be notified for them to actually come on.
Yeah, there's a lot more reservations that should be locking down their borders rather than just letting whoever in there, because they should take a page out of Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe's book, because I've even seen like accounts of like articles where medical supplies are not being sent to Indian hospitals, to Native American hospitals. They're being sent like body bags. So we should just shut this shit down.
Yeah. And hold on, because I have the video, because I don't know who all's like aware of it. It was something that I was going to bring up in the video that I've been trying to film for God knows how long.
Is this the thing that we're both kind of trying to film?
Mine is the being an Indigenous content creator.
Yes, mine is as well. I have like a whole thing. I just haven't filmed anything.
So
for me, it's just not.
For
it's just
those who are not aware, of what is actually happening on the Cheyenne Sioux with everything that's happening with COVID and whatnot. I know you're aware of it. I sent you the video. I just put a link in the chat. It's a video that talks about how they've been fighting, I believe, the mayor.
No, it's the governor. They're fighting the governor. Governor Kristi Noem.
Yeah,
I
because
did not.
she's
Just so you know, I did not vote for Kristi Noem. I voted for that buddy. What's his face? I have voted for the other guy. I did not vote for Kristi Noem because
the stuff that she's trying to pull.
It's just not. She's been very casual throughout this whole entire process. I remember watching daily updates about COVID and everything, and just the fact that it's like, if you like, you're supposed to protect the people whether they live on the reservations or not. You should be like, no, you guys can totally shut down your borders. It's fine. Everybody else is going to figure out a detour.
You want me to lie, or you want me to state the hard truth? I personally hate lying. I'm personally too honest that people have actually stopped being my friends because I'm too honest. But I'd rather be honest than lie. So you want me to be honest?
You go ahead.
It's because people don't care. The governors do not care. There are a lot of governors in many states who would rather have the reservations be non-existent. But what these people fail to realize is they're there. You have to accept that it's part of the history of this whole entire country. And I've gotten into some conversations. And in a way, the way I put it to people, because I've had conversations where people are like, oh, well, I don't like thinking about the reservations and whatnot. I'm like, why? Because the reservations are basically kind of like a trophy of war. It's a living, breathing society, a trophy of war. It is basically an example to other countries of what the United States can do.
Because it's literally the living embodiment of what the government has done to the indigenous peoples, and we have to live with it every day. We have to see it. I have to see it every time I go back to the reservation. Yep. I have to see pictures of my aunties and uncles taking pictures of, somebody's grandma's house is basically all just plywood and drywall somehow put together with sticks and spit. And, I always have to deal with the fact that I, as a Native American living outside of the reservation, I am privileged. And so I have to see that every time I go back. So it's like, that is a reality for me every day. People always assume that I'm from the reservation. I never lived on the reservation. However, I see it every time I go back. I hate going back because it brings up bad memories, but not because I don't want to see what it looks like. I know what it looks like.
For me, it's more so of you're Native American, but you're too white. And it's kind of like a double whammy. And that's why I try to check myself so often. Like, even though like you and like my aunts and whatnot, like it doesn't matter how you look like on the outside, you are still Native and whatnot. I have to recognize that, one, I never grew up on the reservations. I was never exposed to that. Two, I'm white passing, so I have more privilege, not just living outside of the reservations, but by being white passing. People will see me and go to me first before they go over to someone who is more of Asian descent or more of Black descent or African American or Asian Pacific or any of that. Like,
they're marginalized.
Yes.
Even there, there is even colorism that exists even within Native American, like indigenous people's communities. Like, yes, I am Native American. However, somebody could look at my tribal ID card and be like, oh, you're only half, so you don't count. Or you grew up outside of the reservation, so you're just an apple. You're white on the inside and you look Native on the outside. Or, like where white people treat you like shit, and then they realize, oh, wow, I didn't know that you could speak so well. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to speak like?
Yeah.
How the hell am I supposed to speak? Just because I look like this does not mean that you know what is inside my heart.
Hmm.
And that, like the whole, like I could just go on a whole.
All the cans of worms, we're cracking them left and right like they're beers.
Well, I got 2 water bottles here, so I got time, you know.
I'm almost out. Like I have just like a tiny little bit left, and I'm just.
I have this one and I brought this one because I was not sure how long we were gonna talk.
Well, we've almost gone like an hour and a half talking about like all the things.
Well, see, the thing that's why I'm glad that we have this together, because we're not just going to be talking about, the thing at large. We're not just talking about the topic. Where this relates to everything. This relates to all of us. And you and I were both talking about how, we have things planned for July. We have things
Yeah,
planned for August. We want to do stuff for Indigathon because, like we said, there's not enough
there's not enough.
representation for booktube. That Oh, sorry. So Brody just hit 1K and they deserved it. They deserve it so
They
much.
do.
All of it. Oh, okay. So Wheezy said, "Thank you for bringing up the privilege of being white passing. It is a huge inner community issue."
It
Yes,
really is.
it is.
It's so much broader than just like you have to constantly check your privilege with being white passing. Um it's so much more than that. It's the way I recently listened to a podcast, and he talked about the way he struggles with like voting politically, because one half is like one side and then the other half's the other side, because they're of different ethnicities, so they vote a little differently compared to how it meets like their standards and their ideals and whatnot. And the way he talked about it, he talked about as walking in two worlds, like walking a line between two worlds. And I feel like that is one of the most accurate statements for anyone who is white passing or biracial, because there's so much, whether you're in the white society or you're in your indigenous, African American, Asian, whatever other ethnicity you are, when you're walking that line, it's like in the white man's world, it's they expect you to be like a white person. They
Yeah,
expect you to act that way. But then when you're in the other side, they expect you to act like that. But the one thing that's never really talked about is when you're in the more modern day, when you're like raised in traditional heritage and culture, like Indigenous, for example, in modern day, they'll tell you, well, there's no place for that here. And then when you bring that modern day side over to your other side, whether you're Indigenous or whatever community you're from, it's like, well, why are you bringing that here?
yeah. And then Wheezy brought up a good point. Checking your privilege and making sure that the people you're deferring to isn't always the white passing native.
Yeah.
Too many panels are made of white passing people in order to cater to white
Yeah.
people. Like I remember seeing a tweet that was talking about uh how there should be more panels with darker skinned people. And I
Yeah.
thought to myself, like, who the F would ever invite me to a panel with a bunch of other white people? And I was like, isn't that just so messed up that that's what we think when we think about the opportunities that we could be creating for ourselves, which is why I wanted to do this in the first place, because I
Yeah.
was like, there's not enough representation
Yeah.
on BookTube with Indigenous peoples. We are here. We exist. We are right here in front of your faces. We see y'all getting the
Yeah.
art. We see you getting these sponsorships. We see you doing all these things, getting all these things, and we have to sit here and deal with it. And it isn't, and then we have to deal with other people trying to, we want that to boost their voices, but it's like, please boost our voice too. We are trying to help you.
Exactly.
And in solidarity with you, throw us a fucking bone,
Yeah.
okay? Please. Like, We are amazing people. The indigenous peoples, if you know any Native American, if you've ever talked to a Native American or an indigenous person, they are some of the kindest fucking people you're ever going to meet. Even like the mean people, even like the drunks, some of them are just the most kind people. And it's like, not to toot my own horn, but I'm a pretty good freaking friend.
You
I try
are, and I love you.
I can hype you up. If you're wearing a nice outfit for the day, like Autumn, you look very fucking nice. I like
Oh,
whatever you're wearing. Is that polka dots? Is there flowers?
so people are probably gonna come for me. It's a Disney dress, so there's like little red balloons and like the 101 Dalmatians. I don't know, like, oh,
We
that's like
love
my
that.
There's like, see,
Oh my
look,
god, that's so cute. See, I'm just wearing like this average like green dress because this is my color. Even
green does
though
look really good on you.
I really love like green is like my color. But anything else like pinks or like anything like pastel does not look good. But like this center green color, that's where it's at. That's where I stay. I'm that boring beige person that they put in the advertisements that's just wearing like the neutral colors.
Mm,
But the point is we will hype you up.
yeah,
We will we only want what's best for you, but
yeah.
we want what's best for everybody else too. Like I want Autumn to get more than 37 subscribers. Okay? I want Brody to eventually reach 5K. I want to be at like 20K one day, and Brody deserves a lot more than they have. Everybody deserves a lot more than they have. Wheezy deserves so many more
Oh
blogger
yeah.
people exploring her stuff.
Wheezy's blog and like IG, just like throwing it out there for anyone who's watching and doesn't know Wheezy, like that's like top tier.
Yeah, because she was like, oh no, you guys forgot me. I'm like, no, I didn't forget you. I just haven't gotten there yet. And like, especially Danny from Thunderbird Woman Ranch. Oh my God,
She's just
her
like,
aesthetic.
I can't remember. Is she like, did she hit 5K or is she like almost there at 5K?
I don't even know. She's effing magnificent.
She is.
Her and Aaron are like my Bookstagram aunties. They just have the
They're
wisdom.
blessings.
They just, and we don't deserve them.
We really don't. Like, I don't
They were
even
able to
know.
get us, yo, they were able to get us all arcs to the Only Good Indians.
Oh my God. That book.
Yeah. And so like we
Boom.
deserve so
In the
many
field.
opportunities. We deserve it so much. Like the fact that, you know, I don't even know
Only
who
for
else.
you, Wheezy.
We love you.
We love you bunches.
And, you know, and then
Oh,
there's,
that looks like a smushed potato. It's a heart, okay? It looks like a crushed heart, but like it's a heart, okay? I swear it's not a smushed potato.
but like we are so kind and we will help like hype you up. I'm not saying this as we're like, you know, like that guy that's always like, I'm a nice guy, but like nobody loves me. No, that's not what I mean. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We're not like that person. We're just here in the background we're trying to
Exactly.
get the front of the line, okay?
Yeah.
The line is very hard to move forward in. And like, you know, I'll occasionally get an email from like a publisher that's like, hey, would you like one of our books? I'm like, yeah, sign me up for all the lists, all the books. Okay. I just want what's best for the rest of my community.
Yeah.
So
Like,
if you are an indigenous creator and you would like to one day, you know, be like a co-host in one of these dealy bobbers, please let us know. We should create a
yeah.
Google form honestly for that. But like I'm just I just
We're
want
all over the place at the moment.
we are full on like fizzy can
We're
spray
little
everywhere.
gremlins trying to get everything together. It's like we're juggling all the coconuts, but the coconuts keep hitting us in the head, and we're like, "Nyeh."
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, so Native Lady Bookwear said, I'm still reeling from getting an arc. I'm excited, but I was so happy to find you all. We were happy to have you here too.
Let me give you my smushed potato of a heart.
We're so happy to find you as well. And I just like my one day goal is to inspire a bunch of other Indigenous youth to show up here on BookTube and be like, yo, we exist. Show
Yeah.
us some love. And I'm low key frustrated because sometimes I see some people that have like surged. Like I started out at the same time as this one booktuber and she has 70K subs. Where is
I
like
mean,
where's my justice? Where
I'm
is
I mean, in past, like, we've already established this since the Black Lives Matter movement has come out, but like, we've already established the problem in like the book community. It's like with any other community, there is a stigma against any person of color, like whether you're Latinx or Mexican or Asian Pacific, Indigenous, like no matter what, if you're not like the white poster child,
you want diversity
you're
until
on the
we
short
tell
end
you
of the
we want
stick.
diversity.
Hmm.
It's
Yep.
only when we say we want it, then you're like, oh well, I don't think I should ruffle any feathers. It's like ruffle all the feathers, okay? We
You
deserve
should be
this.
making so many waves.
Give us those fucking reparations, okay? The government has done too much bad shit to us, okay?
There
All we could do is subscribe.
there are only This is my advice for anyone who's watching, and this is the only time where I will say that you should consider whether or not it's worth ruffling feathers. I always stick by the policy of you have to pick your battles, but more so when it comes to individual people. If you have a friend or you know of a company or something that is doing something that is harmful or hurtful to a community, no matter what,
Sorry, I coughed.
you have to pick your battles. And when you pick that battle, you have to really think about how you want to execute it. Because there is a fine line between leading by example and then starting a witch hunt and becoming that type of person. And I think any of us in the community, specifically in the book community, we can testify that over the past couple of weeks, we've seen a lot of things come to light, and we've
Showboating.
seen a lot of behaviors come out on both sides, on people who are going after people and whatnot. You have to choose things carefully and how you word it. To be a leader doesn't mean stepping away from the fight. It doesn't mean not fighting the fight and standing up for what is right and for what you believe in and your own beliefs and whatnot. But you don't want to be the person who is responsible for someone doing more harm to themselves or to another community, or having that blow up in the worst way possible. As someone who has seen a lot of that from being around people who have aggressively gone after people, you don't want that kind of burden on your shoulders.
Yes, we've seen that a lot this month of just, it's at least every weekend or every other weekend, where we're like that's why I just haven't been posting anything, because I'm like, right now, I want to bring up the fact that Indigenous peoples are not recognized here enough on BookTube, but right now is not the time. Right now is the time to stand in solidarity with our Black brothers and sisters. And there are a lot of Afro-Indigenous peoples, however, you don't see them here on BookTube.
No.
Why? Because they're not getting the recognition. And like other races mixed with Native Indigenous peoples are not getting recognition.
Accepted.
Exactly. And it's like,
you have to acknowledge that as well.
We want you. We truly, truly want you in this conversation. We truly want you standing with us.
Yeah.
And at least it's at least every weekend where I see some stuff on Twitter where, like the latest with Miss Francina Simone saying what she did about insensitive, insensitive things, but this is not about her. This is not about that, but I just mean in the fact that, people have said things that have hurt their own following, and that we really need to not only stand in solidarity, but we also need to take care in what we say when we say it.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, June 25th was actually the defeat of General George Custer. So it's like, please don't be like Custer, okay? Don't be a bitch ass, because you saw what Native Americans did to him. Because that was a victory. That was a victory for us. And, it's just so much bad stuff happens within the community that we're like, oofed. Like, pick your battles.
Yeah. I try to go more for like being, I don't want to say like a beacon of light or whatnot, but kind of being like a safe harbor, because I try to be a sphere and be like, hey, this is wrong, and call it out, but also try to redirect people and be like, this is wrong, but this is where you need to put your focus.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if I post something that could potentially impact someone's mental health. So
Yeah.
say I know in the past couple of days I've been posting a lot about Elijah McCain and his story. And so if I post something like that, especially like what his last words were, I will do that, but then I'll also post a follow-up photo of directing people of, here's how you can help.
Yes.
Like, you don't want to instill more hurt and more pain that's already there.
Because I did see a tweet today that was like, hey, just so you know, like, those videos of police brutality, they're not doing anything for us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so true, because there also are Indigenous peoples that have been harassed by police, but it's like a whole thing. I saw this thing about mental health with police being involved, and like why police should not be involved with some of these instances. Like, this girl had a breakdown in her, I think it was her dorm or somewhere, and she got dragged out, and the cop like stood on her head, and that's like, I've had an instance when I was in college where I had some kind of depressive episode. The cops were called. They were going to escort me out. I was like almost starting to get kicked out, but like it backpedaled, because I was like, yes, I'll go to therapy. I just don't touch me. And so it's like, so many of these things happen, and we don't need, it's not that we don't need false positivity, for people to be like, just be positive, no, because that's not how the world works. But we do need, there's
We need
terrible things
more
that happen,
compassion, and we need
but we
more
also
people.
need to show that there are good things that do happen in the world as well.
Yeah. We need to, if you're going to show the bad, you have to be willing to show the good. And if you're willing to show the good, then you have to be willing to show the bad. Every incident, every life, everything. It is a double-edged sword. And if you
And
tell
we
one side, you have to tell another side.
And Weezy said, I just posted on Twitter about that picture of all the children in front of a residential school. Sometimes we need to think about the negative impact pictures and videos have on people. Like, yes,
Yeah.
My mother, actually, she's technically my grandmother, but she's 72 years old. And she was a product of the Catholic boarding schools, and like when they tried to give them a skill. And so she was a young girl, and she went to one of those schools, and it was a Catholic one. And so she that's why I don't know how to beat. That's why I don't know very much of my language. That's why I don't know very much of my heritage. That's why I don't, go to ceremony or lodge or sweat, or that's why I don't know how to pick sage, things like that. And it's also about intergenerational trauma. And there was something that she said that really struck with me. And because that's why I didn't read a lot of books for Indigathon that were really emotional, because it's hard on me as a product of a person that was a product of that.
Yeah.
That, and she said, it was just the fact that they were so fucking mean to us. And she recounted times where she was, where she saw people getting hit. She recalls a nun that was, the priest was close to her, and then one day she just stopped coming because she got pregnant. The priest raped her, and and talking about this boy that had to shovel food in his mouth, and just like so many different stories that she has told me. And but then she also tells me about um when she was at the school and she was friends with a group of boys, and they used to pay her to do their laundry, and like the good memories that she had. But she also remembers like some of the bad memories that she had.
Yeah.
And the way that intergenerational trauma works. And then Wheezy said, my grandma is a residential school survivor. None of her siblings survived. And there's so much intergenerational trauma in seeing those pictures. Yes, there. Oh, sorry, I put it back up there. But yeah, there really is, because you see those pictures, and then
Yeah.
it just makes my heart drop, because I think of all the little kids that never got to have childhoods because they either, they had to grow up so fast, or some of them died, or, things like that, like what Weezy said.
Yeah.
And, things like that. The way that the government has impacted us as a peoples plays in such a big role everywhere, especially here on BookTube, because we're like, there's things that we can't post because it's ceremonial, or we're not comfortable with showing that side of ourselves.
Yeah. Or potentially risking someone exploiting it for their own gain, or
being doxxed.
yeah, it's be a safe harbor.
Yeah.
In a community full of piranhas and giant squids, be a safe harbor.
And there's, it's like there's some really good people on BookTube. There's some people doing amazing content, putting out amazing videos. And then there's people that they make you think that they're doing good stuff, and they make you think that they're being good to you, but then you'll send them a message, and they'll just like toss it back in your face, or
I feel like for July, instead of doing like our what we had picked for July, we should like have a continuation of this discussion and whatnot.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. But I think that that subject also plays a part in, because it is the next pick that it plays on mental health, which
Yeah.
there's a lot of mental health on BookTube that we need to. And I'm also dealing with that, so I don't know how that's gonna play and how I feel.
Yeah, that's another thing that I've been kind of worried about. I've been
So, can I just announce what we were gonna do?
yeah, go for it.
I'm thinking that if we don't, I don't know, maybe we could do two things where we do the video movie, and then we also watch like something fun, which to kind of lighten the mood.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to maybe, we're still working that out. Just put down in the comments if you want us to do that. We're watching and reading Fire Song by Adam Garnett Jones. I'll read the back of the thing. So, trigger warning for suicide. Shane is still reeling from the suicide of his kid sister, Destiny. How could he have missed the fact that she was so sad? The person he most wants to turn to for comfort is his friend David, but it's difficult when they have to keep their relationship hidden from everyone on the res. With his grieving mother unable to cope with the tragedy, Shane realizes that his dream of going away to university is threatened. His yearning for a better life is further thwarted when David refuses to leave for the city. A powerful story about love, grief, and moving on, Fire Song deftly navigates the struggles of two Indigenous gay teenagers trying to find their place in the world. And so when I first got this, I actually did not realize that this was an adaptation of a movie that was shown at a festival. I just got it. I haven't unwrapped it, so sorry if there was a glare. But if you did not know, if you are new to everything happening, last month in May, my brother committed suicide. I did not know that he was unhappy. I did not know that he was depressed, and so his death came as a big shock to us. So we're still dealing with that. So not sure how this is going to go over for sure. So if I have any difficulties, we might pick something else out. It does not, it doesn't matter to me what we do, just as long as we can come here on, we're talking July 26th, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
July 26th. Yep. We'll be coming up on here depending on what we do, and we'll be like, hey, this is what we did. Here we go, that kind of thing.
My brain was like, is that it? Function? Creak, creak?
So if you want to join us, we will let you know like tonight/today or, whatever, I'm pretty sure we're going to do this, right?
Yeah. I'm fine with it. I would rather you take into consideration your mental health and whether or not you feel like this is something that you want to go forward with. I'm fine with whatever. If you want to change it to something else, that's fine.
I can definitely read it. I can definitely watch it.
My messages are open. If you need to I
just heard a bang. Sorry. I heard something outside. I was like, what the heck? But anyway, I don't know what that was. So if anything happens, we will come up with like a secondary video.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there.
And if not, we can always, obviously we'll discuss it further, but we can always just turn it into a live chat, sitting down with all of you and answering any questions or just talking
that is
about
also a good
whatever.
Idea. Would you guys want to see some kind of a questionnaire?
Yeah, you can ask us questions in the chat and, whatever questions you have, whether it be Indigenous or book related or personal or whatever, you can just sit down and answer. That way you guys can get to know us, and
we should do that. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to ask questions. You can share this video with all your friends, blah, 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 blah. But I think what we're going to do is we are going to have a get to know us, and then sometime, maybe in the first week of July, we'll come back here and we'll be like, hey, get to know us, ask us questions, that kind of thing. Because this was our first hurrah. We were actually going to launch this in July, but we were like, hey, what if we just, put out a test run and to see how it goes?
Yeah. We very much got sidetracked.
Well, there wasn't much to talk about after that.
It was all baloney anyway. Let's just call it for what it was. So much baloney. No one's got time for baloney. I think my spouse would have to testify, but I'm pretty sure at one point I turned to my spouse, I'm like, why?
It was right when it said that we were a gas station. I was like, it's like, bro, have you even been to a reservation?
Gas station. Gas station where?
It depends on which reservation you go to.
Too.
Some of them do and some of them don't. My reservation, there's in where my family is from, in Kennel, there is a gas station. But it's a resident, it's not very good. But at the same time, there's cool pictures of Bigfoot in there. because we were visited by Bigfoot. I remember when it happened. It happened in like '03 or '08. I remember it being a huge deal. So like my mom, sometimes she has weird dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's mom, there's at least one person that is like, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But she has weird dreams sometimes, and she had a dream that there was like this shadow thing happening.
Yeah.
And we get a call, like it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay, we 5 o'clock in the morning, my mom gets a call, and it's like my great aunt, and she's like freaking out, and she was like, somebody saw Bigfoot, and there's tracks in the snow, and there's cops all over the place, and there's BIA everywhere, and everybody was awake.
That's a hell of a call to wake up to at like 3, 5 in the morning.
Oh, it was, because I used to sleep in the living room, because
Mm-hmm.
my bedroom, it was too cold in there, so I used to sleep in the living room. And so I was waking, I was like, hello, yeah, mom, you know, I didn't know what the F was going on. So yeah, that was just crazy. And like I said,
I'm gonna
with,
go back to sleep.
yeah, I was like,
Bye
just let me know if anything bad happens.
bye.
So, yeah, but like with Hangar 1 or whatever with the UFOs, like everybody has a like all of your family usually has like a supernatural occurrence, not like
Yeah.
an actual, like an alien occurrence. It's supernatural.
Yeah.
So there's pictures of like the tracks and everything like that, and talking about Bigfoot. And, there have been at least ones where like, yeah, there was something outside my window or things like that. And that's why you don't whistle at night, folks. Don't do it, Adam.
I didn't. I did. I went.
Don't even tease me. I will smack you. I will do it. It's not funny.
But it's all from a place of love.
That is true. I'm
I
just not good at taking a joke.
I would never do that though. Like I would probably be like, no, yeet in front of you. Actually, I have done that for people. Taking a football to the chest. That stuff
Ooh.
hurts. Yeah. That stuff hurts. But I mean, when you have like the football team, you all know how the football team is. A lot of them are freaking jerks. And they're picking on like the wimpy kids. Like sometimes in the moment and the adrenaline kicks in, you do a lot of stupid things. Sometimes that entails throwing yourself in front of a weaker, meeker kid who just wants to read his freaking book to prevent them from having a freaking football interrupt them while they're reading.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, well, I beat up one of my bullies with a 2x4 once.
I'm gonna need you to teach me your ways.
Well, he was
Don't
like,
condone violence, people. Let
was
that be
that
known.
moment where we were okay. So there was a softball. We were at the softball field, and it was during like it was our PE square block or whatever, where you could either like sit around or you could play softball like all the other kids. And I was raised in Whitetown, USA. Okay, there were no other brown kids except for like one, and he was not there. Okay, so I had no one to protect me, no one. And this guy, he's like, Michelle, where's your tomahawk? And then they did the hand over the mouth thing, and I was just very upset because none of my friends were saying fucking jack shit. So I got so mad. I picked up a 2x4. It just so happened to be laying around, and he somehow got wrestled to the ground, and I beat him with it because I was just tired of it. And so this other kid that was teasing me at the same time, he picked that guy up, and they went off because the other guy was crying, and I didn't get in trouble because nobody saw what happened. The teacher didn't see, so it didn't happen.
There's a lot. That's a lot to unpack right there.
That's just
it's bloody. It's bloody brilliant, but it's also kind of slightly horrifying. How tall are you?
Well, at that time I was like 5'5" ish, but I'm like 5'7", and my bully was just a little bit over me. He was like 5'9" at that time, something like that. But he was
see, I was thinking you were like shorter for some reason. I'm like, Now I understand why so many people say short people are terrifying.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was like 8th grade, maybe freshman year of high school.
I
One
wouldn't
of the
know.
two.
I'm a midget compared to you.
Oh, really? How tall are you?
I've been 4'11". Well, hold on. So in
Oh
sixth grade,
my God, you're so cute.
so in sixth grade, I had like a weird spurt and I was like 5'1". And I know a lot of you are going to be like, how the fuck does this happen? By the time I hit 7th grade, I was down at 4'11". I never grew any taller than that after that. I went from being 5'1" in the hopes of, oh, maybe I'll be like a decent height.
I don't know. You have
Nope.
like 5'8", 5'9" energy to me.
That's because so many people are like, you're such a true Gemini. I'm like,
I'm a Gemini.
like,
People in the chat are like, what the hell is going on here?
we came here for the talk of the episode and we're getting so many different layers. We're unpacking this cake layer by layer. Although cake does sound really good. We have an ice
Oh my
cream
God,
cake.
right?
We have an ice cream cake in the freezer. It's my spouse's birthday cake, and it's sitting in there taunting me, and I'm like, I have to wait till Saturday. Why? And my spouse's response is, you were in charge of groceries. I'm like, well, I prioritized other things.
That is me. I go to the pens. The pens is what I look at first, and then I go look at the books, and then I go do my shopping.
Yeah.
That way I get it all out of, but
Out
then
of the
sometimes
system.
I forget stuff.
Yep. Yep. It's kind of what
Like
happened.
today when I was like, it's season 2, episode 1, and not season 2, episode 5. Good job, Shello. Good job. Way to go.
I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been so much worse, you know?
Mm-hmm. I
You
could have
could have,
watched season episode 1, and I would have been like, I don't know what's going on.
and we could have been like, you could have been talking about episode 1, and I would have been like, what episode did you watch?
See,
I
that's
don't
when
know
I
what's
would have
happening.
been like, just kidding. This is actually just a live.
I mean, at this point, it kind of really is.
I'm okay with that.
We've almost been going for like 2 hours now.
I'm okay with it. We deserve the screen time.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. The only thing that's complaining is my bladder.
Well, if you have to go do that and come back, I'm okay with just leading the chat.
The problem with that is there's no way to turn the mic off.
Oh. Yeah,
So that
not
little
that
green light, yeah. So I'm just like, I can't leave because this will be on. And they're going to hear the shenanigans that my pets get up to.
like, what's going on over there?
Like, so many
Okay,
things.
so I see a button that says 5 people are here. So who all is here? Where are you at?
Hello,
Who
people. Well, one of them's me. One of
comments.
them's me. So, one of them's me because I have it up in another tab and my phone's making noises.
Oh boy. Yeah, I haven't even checked on the thingy. But if you have any ideas of what we should watch or what we should do for like future times, definitely put that down in there.
Oh, so we're here. We're in a live chat because this is what I forgot to show you earlier. Because we talked about Bone Black. Because you showed me Bone Black. I got this in the mail today. Ooh, that glare. Ooh.
Wow.
Oh.
Was that something that Danny read?
I don't know. I know Brody briefly mentioned it. I think it was something that
in one of their thingies.
Yeah, I think they wanted to get this if they haven't gotten it already. But I ordered this like a while ago and it was on. Why?
Is there a dent?
What is that? What is on my book? What
Oh
did you people
no.
do? There's like some sticky stuff on the back. Like, I don't know if it's gonna like come up, but like
Sticky stuff sucks.
there's like stuff right here, and it's so sticky, and I'm just like, why?
Y'all, Connor is here. Bruh, isn't it like 4 o'clock in the morning over there? Aren't you like 6 hours ahead of us or something like that? Right? Scotland? I have a pen pal in Scotland.
Good person. If it is like 4 in the morning, you should go to sleep or
Connor
brew
is
yourself like a tankard of coffee so you can be functioning. And if you don't drink coffee, then brew yourself a giant tanker of black tea.
You know, I owe a lot to Connor. Oh, it's 3 a.m. Yep, that's what I thought.
Same
6 hours. Something about 6 hours.
difference.
But no, when I first got here, I got here in 2018 in October, and I was like, I was gonna I was having problems because like my roommate moved out, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take my computer when you get your stuff off of it." So I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I was like, "Damn, now I'm not gonna be able to do BookTube because that's like the Windows editing software because I don't have money for like the fancy editing, and this laptop like
Oh,
low sucks." And so I was like, "Oh well."
I got
Seriously,
you.
like, I guess I'm gonna quit BookTube. And he was like, no, 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 don't quit BookTube. And this is literally the only reason why I'm still here is because he was like, hey, don't quit.
I mean, what more motivation do you need? Hold on.
Right?
I don't know. I should have asked my spouse about this.
What's that?
Hold on.
We're gonna open this babe up.
Ooh, oh, 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 oh.
Oh, you can. Okay, so if you want to watch with us, this is also on Amazon Prime, I believe. I think it was like on the Amazon thing. And he said, I'm glad you didn't. Yeah.
So I'm gonna send this to you privately because no one else needs to know my secrets. You get special access. You get
Well,
special
I really
access to
hope
the
so.
shit that I do.
I don't like when people keep secrets from me.
So this is I just sent you on Twitter
Okay.
what I use to like edit photos and stuff. It's also what I use to make like my YouTube icons. It's what I use to help make my banner for like my YouTube and like the banner you see on my Twitter profile. Yeah. I'll have to talk to my spouse, but
See, I use Pixlr for editing my thumbnails. But like as for like I mean I'm talking about like the video itself. I
oh,
don't have fancy
I
schmancy
don't, oh
equipment.
God, I don't. I'm on my
And I don't have an iPhone.
I use, hold on. Wow.
Ooh. See, I love when they post like okay, so if you didn't know this about me, I like indie movies. I am like a sucker for like a good tagline and like just that color.
Also,
Ooh, by Wolfie.
here's more super secret stuff. The second thing that I just sent you
Okay.
is the video editing. It's free. It's like super cheese. It's like so cheese.
Okay.
Like enough cheese that that there's YouTube videos out there where if you don't know something, you can literally watch it. But second, so cheese. Like I learned I learned as I went along, but also most things I realized within like 5 minutes of like this is my video, I need to do this. Where's everything at? It's like super easy.
See, I grew up so when I was in high school, I was in AP English and I was like, "Hey, so I'm just doing my thing." And my teacher puts this paper in front of me and it's for because I was in yearbook slash like the newspaper. It was all grouped together. So I was in newspaper and I had my own column and where I like talked about Indigenous stuff, Indigenous issues. And I was like, what is this? And she was like, oh, this is a journalism thing for Native American kids. And so I read through it. I applied for it. I got there. It was at the Crazy Horse Memorial. It was called Crazy Horse Journalism Conference, something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but it was run by USD. There was a guy there named Jack Marsh. He is a big journalist. He was friends with Al Newharth, who was the founder of USA Today, and that's why in USA Today there's always a weather column for Eureka, because that's where he's from. And so I went there. I did the thing. I applied for a scholarship, got a scholarship, and then Argus Leader was running a column. There was a thing where it was like growing up Indian in South Dakota, and I got chosen as one of their featurists. It was like 5 of us, and so they paired me with this little camcorder thing, and I like took videos of my experiences and everything like that, and it came out. It's not on the site anymore on Argus Leader, otherwise I would have linked it a long time ago, but it was really fun. And so when we were editing my stuff, it was just thank God they cut out some of the stuff they did, because I had an ex-boyfriend on there. And now when I think about it, I was like, I'm so glad they did not include that. I'm so glad that they just left it to like me, to just me, right? I praise the man that helped me out. His name was Jim Cheeseman. Literally, his last name was Cheeseman. Okay. So he's a journalist, and he had a Apple laptop. And so I grew up the whole time thinking that you have to have Apple products to do videos. And I didn't know you could just upload your stuff into the world. Otherwise I would have started doing BookTube a long time ago. But yeah, that's a really long drawn out explanation, but I really, really enjoy BookTube.
Well, I just sent you a video editing software. It's totally free. I use it all the time. That's how I edit my photos. Although there are times where I mess up, but that's a me thing and not like an anyone else thing, or like the editing software. Like that's me. That's me being a ditz and not double, triple checking my stuff. But yeah, so if you want to use any of those, like I can check with my spouse for like the photo editing stuff, but like the video editor, that's what I use. Like, yeah.
Okay.
So if you need something that's like easy to understand, is independently developed and whatnot, and constantly updated from bugs and things like that, and then just really simple to navigate and not like overwhelming with like all the stuff, that's the best way. The one that I've seen anyway. And
Okay.
it's free to use. So all you gotta do is like download it on your computer.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I use.
Awesome.
Even though I'm like a ghost. I'm like the indigenous phantom of YouTube. I started my channel, I think there's like 5, maybe not even that, videos on my channel, and that's it. Like every time I get ready to like make that video of being an indigenous content creator, I'm like, this is either turning.
I feel like every time the time comes where it's open, we can talk about it, something bad happens, and then we're like, nope, not right now.
Yeah, like you know? when I filmed it, like pre-filmed it before everything happened, like before COVID and all of it, like it went from me like talking normal and answering the questions to a full-blown rant about.
I think maybe we should just do like a collaboration on this, because I feel like we both want to say the same stuff. I should just email you the list of like the things that
all the questions,
gathered, and then we just answer them.
I have all the questions. Although there's a certain one I feel like needs to be edited because of who asked said question.
Was that based on my thread, or was that?
I believe I pulled the questions from the videos that you and Brody did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you know what I'm referring to when I say there's certain questions in that are like need to be edited because of the person who asked those questions.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yes, you do.
Okay, I have them I have the questions in a journal, so I gotta find that real quick.
Yeah.
But I know that we both know. But there's a second there. I was going to film a part 2 to that, so I did ask a bunch of questions, and I did get a lot of, and I even asked on YouTube, or not. I asked on Instagram, and
I think I responded to that too.
Did you?
I think I responded to the Twitter one. I can't remember if I left a comment, but I remember liking it, and I think I retweeted it too.
Okay, so yeah, I remember who asked the question.
Yeah.
And okay, yeah. I remember I was actually going to put that person in. I was going to make like a thing where it was like, thank you for being so supportive. And that person was like on my list. And I just like aggressively scratched that out with black marker.
I think the questions, if I'm not mistaken, can stay. I just feel like it needs to be reworded for various reasons.
Oh yeah, I think definitely the one about customs should be edited. The person is insensitive to the customs in general.
I don't think I even mentioned it when I was telling you about filming. Oh, see, now you brought up the shiny things, and now I'm just gonna be distracted by the shiny things.
Sorry, I'll put it
in. When I finally finished filming, like the question and whatnot, and I filmed it like 5 times, and the final one that I like had just uploaded to my computer, I hadn't even like edited or anything, was just a full-on rant. But when I got to that question, no matter how many times I tried to get past that question, it was like just reading it was like being having like needles being put into my skin. It felt like I was being subjected to acupuncture.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was just like, who asked this kind of question? Because that's something I would ask in private.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was going to ask that, I would have worded it differently.
Yeah, just low key. I'm not going to talk to you about any of my customs that I do privately because, like,
it felt like they were fishing. It felt like they were fishing for information, more specifically, particular information. And it put me on pins and needles because when I read a question like that, I automatically go on the defensive.
Well, what really pissed me off is that a lot of the questions that I have that were like, how can we boost more Native American people? How can we boost Indigenous voices? Like, y'all
how do you think, Karen?
How September. Like, I posted this video in September of 2019, and since then have not been, except for one time, thank you, Margaret, have not been invited to any live shows, have not been invited to any group chat involving book groups, where we read a group book, have not been invited to collab, have not been invited to do any of that stuff, except there was one time where I got asked to collab by Rachel, who is now like one of my best friends. But that's not the point. It's like, it's only my best friends that are asking me to do shit, not like some outside person.
I mean, to be fair, I did send you a few emails trying to put together that Indigenous panel.
And then it didn't happen, and I was like, what the fuck?
I reached out to you, Brody, Naya from Naya Reason Smiles. What?
Oh yeah, Wheezy. Okay, so
Yeah.
she said, be careful with people who do that. I had someone on Twitter befriend me and then steal my family story so they can pretend to be.
Yeah,
that.
that's
I'm
why.
sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. So please put the pronunciation down below so I can pronounce that correctly. Because I remember in a book I read something where somebody said Oglala Lakota, and they were like, "What's Oglag? What?" Like, I don't want to butcher that shit.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna say it.
That's another reason why I'm kind of like worried about doing that kind of video as well, because I'm a very private person as is. Like, I have to really warm up to you to like be like, blah 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 blah. This is what happened. Blah 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 blah.
See, that's the funny thing about me is that a lot of people are like, some of you are so mean to me when you first meet me. I'm like, no, I fucking hate everybody when I first meet them. Like people at work. I used to work and I would meet them and they'd be like, oh my God, hi. And I'm like, no, I don't fucking like you. And it's not until they do something that I'm like, oh yeah, I like you now. I'm always like on the defensive. And so far on BookTube, I've had to unlearn that behavior.
Wheezy, let me know if I'm saying this right. Muskoki?
Did we pronounce that right?
Muskoki?
Help me. I just don't want to. I don't want to pronounce it wrong because there's a lot of Lakota where. Okay, yay, we did it. We did it.
Awesome. Cool. I mean, oh no, I totally get it. Like when Bethany asked me to come join for like the live show about Twilight and New Moon, whatnot, like I instantly like, okay, I'm pretty sure I've been saying the name of this tribe wrong. I need to go look this up and hear it be said. And it's pronounced as Quileute. Yeah, Quileute. The Quileute tribe. And I was like,
yeah, I would just die if I heard somebody pronounce it wrong. Like there's pronunciations with like even Lakota words where there's a word for woman called Wian, but it's Wynyan, and I've heard somebody actually say Winyan. I was like, just kill me now. Just
I mean,
yeet.
Yeah. I've had people not even properly refer to me as like Apache. They've referred to like the alternative, was it like the Latin or the Brazilian translation, Apache.
What?
So Apache in, I want to say it's either the Latin or the Brazilian translation, means the people, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. So instead of just directly saying Apache, I've had people say, oh, so you're Apache. And then kind of turn it into like a Pikachu joke.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, boo-boo. Yeah.
Luckily,
and it was a teacher.
Otherwise, somebody would have ended up on the floor.
It was a teacher. It was a teacher who did that.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You know what?
Surprised that was a male white teacher. A nerdy.
You want to know horror stories? Okay, so here's the thing. My last name used to be Two Hearts, okay? My name is Michelle. My last name used to be Two Hearts, so Michelle Two Hearts, right? Growing up in school, the first thing that would happen when I would introduce myself to a male that was over the age of 30 at least, they would start breaking into songs singing Michelle by the Beatles. You know that song, Michelle by the Beatles? It's like, it'd be like, Michelle, my belle. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I don't know what you're talking about. And then the most irritating thing about my last name is that people are like, you're Two Hearts? So does that mean you have two hearts? No, motherfucker. No, I don't. But at some point, I was just like, yes, I have two hearts. That's anatomically possible.
This is a time where I wish I wore like the gloves that old British men wear, so I could be like, Kenneth Willis. Now anyone with the name Willis is gonna hate me.
Well, at least they're not being compared to Karens.
Oh God.
We've all met our fair share of Karens.
Yeah. But yeah, so that question needs to be retweaked. Yeah.
I have a new question. Oh, and somebody asked me, someone asked me on Instagram what I thought about Debbie Reese. That was before all this stuff started happening. And now I look at that question and I just laugh my ass off because I'm like, you don't want to know. You don't want to know what I think. You really don't.
I feel like I just did like several different facial expressions.
Honestly, low key, like I have to apologize to you. Like I'm so sorry.
Right.
Because I'm sorry to you because when I first met you, when you first emailed me, I had no effing clue who you were.
Oh, geez.
So I had this person coming up on my email. I'm like, hey, we want to feature you in something. I'm like, that's great. Who are you? I've never heard of you. I don't know who you are. And so I was like,
you stalked me, didn't you?
I did not stalk you because I didn't know who you were. And so then when you showed up again in my emails and you were you're like, oh no, this chat thing, this panel was not supposed to. I'm like, y'all just didn't want a brown person on there, did you?
It wasn't even that. So everyone, well, Naya didn't even respond. And then the other people, aside from Brody straight up told me he had to work that weekend. So I totally understand that. I respect that. Like,
you said he, it's they.
Brody, if you are watching this, I'm sorry. Feel free to pelt me with kumquats. They had told me that in the future they would love to be featured, but they weren't able to do it because they were working. And I was like, okay. So I have one person. Yeah. So I even originally suggested getting together Indigenous authors, like putting together an Indigenous author panel. Darcy Lil Badger was busy. And the only other person they reached out to was Stephen Graham Jones.
And Stephen Graham Jones is a rock and was like, yeah, sure.
And I'm not even going to talk about that because anyone can go watch the videos if they really want to do a comparison.
Oh, are you talking about the thingy that happened with the Karen that was talking about marginalized men in BookTube or in the world? Is that the one we were talking about, or was that some other one? You were like, damn it, you brought it up.
Yeah, kind of. Okay. So,
anyway.
So I know there's people in the chat who probably haven't watched it. So I'm just going to say this. If you go to the social distance playlist, there is a episode. There's like, God, it's really low on the list for the social distance playlist where Stephen Graham Jones was featured. I don't like doing comparisons. I hate doing comparisons, but if you watch that video and then you compare it to my interview with Stephen Graham Jones, there are two entirely different ways on how he ends up responding.
Oh, yeah.
There is a big difference. And
It's so much okay, so that's why we're doing this because it's so much easier to talk to your own people sometimes than it is to like a white interviewer or something like that. Like I've been interviewed by white people before and it's so awkward. It's so like almost low key uncomfortable, but then like I was interviewed by one of my favorite people, Devin shit, he's my favorite person. I don't remember his last name, but anyway, so Wagner, Devin Wagner, he used to be with the Argus Leader, but now he's so cute, he lives in Alaska with his wife and they have a little like a little tater tot about like almost the same age as Soren, but he was a white passing native, and so he interviewed me, but it was like so much less like I could actually just like it's nice
It's
you could just be yourself with somebody.
yeah. That was one of the things that I emphasized with when I did the interview for him, because
Yeah.
I mentioned, I think briefly, that when I get put into a situation, no matter what it is, I have to do research. I have no knowledge of Blackfeet culture, heritage, ritual ceremony, anything like that. I have no knowledge of that. I was raised with Apache language and heritage and culture and all
It's
that.
not all the same.
Yeah. And even though they're like two plains tribes, it doesn't mean they have anything in common.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and I started looking at all the interviews for him about the Only Good Indians. And the thing that stuck out to me the most was it's bad when you can literally feel the platonic responses in the interview. So like the person would ask the question, the response would be like, yes, no. It would be so dry, so flat. And if you go onto his blog, there's so much. It is literally a basket of fruit of him as a person, the things he likes, his hobbies, his entire like his childhood and whatnot. Like there's one section where it's just like a brief summary from like childhood through like his adolescence into like his adult age. And it's so fascinating. It's just a basket full of fruit you can pick from. And none of these interviewers used it to their advantage. And so the thing that I want to emphasize, because it's so rare when a Native American author gets interviewed.
Mm-hmm.
It's so rare. It's so rare that one, they're humanized in the interview. Like they actually just get to be who they are. They get to breathe. They
What
get
does
to
that to do with
exist.
you? Like when I saw that, I was laying there. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I was laying there. Calvin's trying to sleep. Soren is laying there. He's like, doing gymnastics on my boobie. And I'm like, this is amazing. Like I low key was like, why was I not invited to this? I want to be a part of this, which is why I connected, because when I first met you, I didn't know who the fuck you were. I was like, who the fuck is this person?
No
Like
one does.
blowing up my email. What the fuck? And then when the thing didn't happen with the native with the indigenous panel, I low key was like, and this is the fucked up part about booktube where I was like, wow, y'all just didn't want a Native American person in your panel, did you? And so that's why I have to apologize, because I made an assumption about you. And so then when you were like, oh yeah, I'm Apache, I was like, what? Why did you lead with that? You didn't lead with the fact that you were Apache.
It never really crosses my mind, in a sense. Like, I guess in a way, I'm so used to like this being white and having to check myself and whatnot. Like, I kind of push that to the back, because no matter who I'm talking with, the white, that's the first thing people see. When I sent the email to Stephen Graham Jones asking him about like, hey, we wanted to bring you back for the interview, I led with the Apache part because I wanted it to be different, because I wanted it to mean something. I wanted him to have the knowledge that if he does do the interview, it's not just going to be with just anybody. It's going to be with someone who kind of has an understanding, but not like a full understanding. But I made sure I took the time to do the understanding.
Oh yeah, Wheezy asked the question. I'm trying to figure out if this is the panel I was invited to be on, where they were going to combine Native and Latinx creators, but everyone else got their own day and panel.
I'm not 100% sure on that, Wheezy. I know I talked with Brigid to reach out to you and, God, I don't want to butcher the name. Rogier? Or is it Roger? I'm probably butchering that name, and if they're
I think Ro's better.
If they're watching, I deeply apologize. I am terrible with names. Just like tell me how to say it. Yeah, I reached out to a multitude of people, like just the few people that I were made aware of, and I never heard back on that response. But if it was some like Native and Latinx panel, it might have been something else. I'm not 100% sure. I know the ones that I was in direct contact with, or at least trying to be, was Michelle, obviously Brody from E2 Brody, and I directly, God, I really had to dig deep for Naya's contact information. She keeps that stuff on lockdown.
Well, yeah, I mean she's huge.
Oh yeah. But those were the ones that I had directly reached out personally, so I can't speak on the knowledge of that. The social distance book fest as a whole was a very chaotic time, but hopefully going forward,
something new, that's kind of what happens. I mean, look at us. We were like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this.
We just need to make one big giant list of things we would like to do or want to do, and things that would be
spitballing right now.
Yeah, like just compile a list of things we're spitballing and see, like, okay, well, if we do this, we have to like do X, Y, Z.
See, okay, so I wanted to go back to the whole apology thing real quick, because I didn't see your photo and think, oh, that's just a white girl trying to come in my DMs. No, I thought that it was like, this is somebody I don't know. This is a stranger asking something of me that I don't know if it's going to happen. So when it didn't happen, and I thought, wow, y'all just didn't want to be, you just didn't want me there. Wow, what the hell? What the fuck? I was so mad. I was like, I was even complaining to my husband. I was like, wow. So the one time I get a maybe opportunity, they say no. Wow, I wonder who played a part in that. And I was like, freaking BookTube's racist as fuck. I was so mad. I was so fucking mad. I was like, I hate you guys. I never want to do any of this again. And then when I saw your interview, I was like, I wish she had just led with the Apache thing, because then I would have been like, oh, one of my own people's trying to contact me. That was what I saw as, not as like you as a white person, but I wanted that like, oh yeah, I'm from, I'm Apache and I just wanted to get in touch with you about doing this panel because I think it's important for our people, that kind of thing. I've never reached out to anybody for anything like that, but just like, that's why I was just kind of like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I have to apologize. I was an asshole.
You don't owe me an apologize. Like, seriously, like, to be honest, if I were you, I would have been like the same way. Like, as I said, like, it's not so much you, and maybe it's me just like assuming or whatnot, but like, that's just kind of how I am. I never lead with that. The one time it's an exception is like when I'm contacting an author or like a publicist directly.
It was BlogCon.
Oh,
I don't know what that is, but damn, I wish you would have been featured. I wish we would have known more about that.
Yeah.
That's why we need more Indigenous representation on BookTube. Just saying, on the Bookternet, like Bookstagram, book blogs, things like that. We just need to put like a big old list together, because people have been coming out in drones, and I just wish that we had
like
more
cockroaches out of the woodwork.
Well, and there's and that's the thing too, is like, Stephen Graham Jones, he really put his whole heart out there when he was interviewing with you. I was like, this is amazing. Like, I was low key jealous because I was not invited. I was like, I wish I had this
Well,
potential.
I can't remember. Did I send you the link directly? I want to say I sent you the link directly as soon as I had everything
I
set
think
up.
you sent it to your
I,
to me about the interview, and I remember watching the interview. I was like, oh my god, how many subscribers does she have? I thought you would have had like at least like 300, 400, 500. And then when I saw 37, I was like, bitch, what?
I'm more active on Bookstagram and my blog than any
Yeah,
other
your Bookstagram
platforms.
pictures are. I wish I had that potential. Let me tell you what. Fuck.
My background is literally this blanket.
Did
Oh,
you? It doesn't even matter. Did you know that Jon Snow? Did you know that his thingy that he wears, the wolf coat? Did you know that's actually from IKEA and they just sewed it? Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah. I was like, I need that.
Teach me your ways in sewing. I mean, I can sew, but like not that fine sewing.
They just sewed it. It was supposed to be like some kind of rug thing, and then they just made it into like a coat or whatever with like a big cape thing. I was like, I'm so jealous. Like there are some people whose backgrounds are just on fleek. Like just they have all the potentials.
That's just basically, I just use blankets and falling apart roses. It's nothing fancy. But yeah, those are like my two biggest platforms. But yeah, you don't owe me an apology because I would probably be the same way. In a sense,
What?
I decline because they
I did.
combine native and Latin. Yeah,
Wow, that's fucked up. That is extremely fucked up.
the real question is whether or not they actually made an effort in contacting native authors. Or if they couldn't even do native authors, they could have gotten together more Native American content creators.
Well, I wasn't fucking emailed. Let me tell you what.
Yeah. If anything, Wheezy, you, and Brody, maybe Naya, but I highly doubt it. I have no doubt that her email box is just like flooded constantly.
She probably doesn't respond to like 80% of the stuff because it's just so overwhelming. Like,
Yeah.
but at the same time, like, I'm sure I mean, I'm not saying that she doesn't look through her stuff, but I'm sure she does. But like, I'm
Yeah.
sure like 80% of it is just spam or like,
Yeah, it's
comments.
probably overwhelming. Like just when I get into my email, like if I have more than like 10 or 20, I'm like, I don't want to deal with this. And then
Yeah,
it gets out of hand and then I have to deal with
like
it.
back in the day, I used to subscribe to a lot of like, newsletters and stuff. And nowadays I'm just like, delete, 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 delete,
Delete,
delete.
unsubscribe. Yeet, yeet,
Yeet.
yeet.
Yep, pretty much.
But yeah, you don't really owe me an apology. I do accept your apology. Just so you know, I do accept your apology.
What?
But
They didn't. This was decided on the first day of planning. What the fuck? That's so fucked up. You know what? That's what we need to do. We just need to make a big old thread of like, hey, here's Indigenous content creators that you need to fucking check out because they fucking deserve
I
it.
know Natalia was putting together a list of all the Indigenous content creators.
I think Amy was too from non-fic feminist. I'm not good at ats sometimes. But Amy featured me a couple days ago in her Instagram, so that was cool.
I'm not good with things in general. I'm a mess. I'm a gremlin of chaotic mess.
And sometimes, for me, and sometimes I just see the same people on my timeline, and it's only when I'm on there for like longer than I need to be that I see more people. And I just wish that more people would reach out to me and be like, "Hey, we're here," and for me to be like, "Hey, we should do stuff."
Like surprisingly enough, like I want to say like a couple days after Danny had reached out to me and was like, "Hey, did you get a copy of The Only Good Indians?" Like even though I said that I got a copy, like an e-arc from NetGalley, Like, she still offered to get me a physical copy, which, let's just be honest here, that interview meant everything. Like, and
It was amazing.
the fact that he tweeted, I pay attention to a lot of what authors tweet, and when they specify, Stephen Graham Jones never addresses anyone by name. It's very rare when he addresses anyone by name. The fact that he addressed me by name and said thank you, and then also put it on his blog, like a direct link to my review on my blog, to his blog, like,
I think I would die if I ever got featured by Stephen Graham Jones, honestly. I would just.
It was like, there's no words to describe it. Like, how do you describe having such amazing interaction with another?
I love that interview. The part where you were talking about like different horror tropes, because like there are so many tropes that the white part of booktubers like, this was too tropey, and like the love triangles are so overrated, and I just hate the fact that you do the insta love thingy. It's so stupid. But it's like, excuse me, I have not seen two native boys or two native girls fighting over another person, so shut the fuck up, Karen. Your opinion is not valid, because until I have seen it in my own fiction, until I have seen it from my own people, from my own fiction, then your argument is invalid. Okay? Because like, I love triangles. Okay, I've never ever seen two Native Americans have a love triangle. Okay, or a love squiggle, whatever, square. I've never seen it. Okay, I've never seen hate to love. I've never seen any of that stuff. If y'all know about that stuff, please link it down below, because I've never seen it. So until I've seen it, I will never say that it was too tropey.
Yeah.
Because the argument is invalid.
Yeah, so like, not long after Danny had messaged me about that, I got a message from thank you, Wheezy. Oh, you finally got a chance to watch it. I know I never heard back from you in on Twitter. I think I sent you the direct link on Twitter, but I don't think I heard directly back. So I'm glad you had a chance to watch it, because I wanted to make sure you, Michelle, and Brody all got to watch it, because y'all had such an important. Without you all, the interview wouldn't be the way it was. Like, you played, each and every one, you played such a huge role in making that interview what it was. So it's not just my victory, it's also yours, and it's Brody's, and it's also Michelle's, because you all contributed to that. And I hope, like, when each of you watched it, that you like took such away, like, a decent chunk of pride, because you guys contribute to that. Like, you made that possible. Like, I don't think the Social Distance Book Fest actually made an official announcement, but like, I know I tried to make sure that I brought attention to all of you, because you played such a key role in that interview. Like, I wouldn't be able to do that interview without acknowledging each and every one of you. And even when we were doing like the look over for like the questions and stuff, I wanted to make sure that we had each of your taglines, so that way Stephen could reach out to you personally, or his publicist could reach out to you personally and be like, hey, here's an arc or something. Or at least like,
when he put the book up and he was like, I could probably send you a copy, I was like, like, I fainted.
I was just like,
swoon.
Yeah. I even told the team in the Social Distance Book Fest, like, right when we were like checking to see what books were featured on NetGalley, when we had already confirmed Stephen Graham Jones was going to be featured on one of the panels, I made sure I requested The Only Good Indians and Night of the Mankins. I'm still waiting on the fucking approval for that. The frick you doing, Tor?
Oh my gosh, Tor is so notorious for ignoring our requests. Like, low-key calling out Tor a little bit. If any of you publicists are watching, please just reach out to each and every one of us.
Yes.
Okay? Saga's trying their best to feature us. Everybody else should. God. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Like, It's so frustrating. Still waiting. But like right after I mentioned this when all the thing came to light about the Only Good Indians arcs. Because I got one directly from Steven. Like right after I applied for an arc of the Only Good Indians on NetGalley, it was like a day or two after I'd submitted my request that I got the email saying, "Yeah, you were declined." And I was like, "What?" I even have it stated on my profile in the description, like before it gets into like all my stats and stuff. Like, I am an Indigenous reviewer. I prioritize diverse reads, but most importantly, Indigenous representation in books. Why was I declined?
That would piss me off so badly. Weezy's Night of the Mannequins is amazing.
It was good.
I'm so jealous.
You have a review. If you have a review, send me your review. Hi, Brody.
Hi, Brody.
Brody, you're gonna be mad at me, and I've already stated that you can pelt me with like kumquats or like watermelons, but I accidentally like, if you end up rewatching this from like in the beginning, I end up saying your pronouns wrong, and I apologize. I formally apologize to you. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad. And yeah, you can pelt me with kumquats and watermelons and stuff now.
We love a public apology.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't feel right. Well, one, they're in the chat, so if I mess up, one, I like to directly go to the person that, like, if I hurt or cause like any pain or any, like, if I do something wrong with them, I like to fully address like those issues head on and like say, hey, I was in the wrong. Like, that's what being an adult is. And one, like, I don't like causing people pain like that. Like, I've had people do that to me before when I was figuring out my sexuality and all that jazz, and I know that hurts and stuff, and
being an empath is really hard right now because you're feeling the whole freaking, you know, the whole damn world right now.
Yeah. Like, but yeah, like, so I apologize, Brody. So I do love you. I love you very much, and I apologize for that slip up, and that is on me. And I
wish we got our Night of the Mannequins though.
When you make that review, Weezy, send it to me so I can boost it like it is the most holy thing to be blessed in the world.
Tor has been good to you. Well, at least Tor is good to somebody. Let me tell you what.
Soccer Press is
arcs. You know who does give good arcs? WSU Press. WSU Press has sent me 2 arcs, both by Indigenous authors. So email them. Kristen is the one that usually gets back to me.
Doubling back around to like what I was saying. So yeah, like right after Danny like messaged me about like Sleeping Arm Jams, I got messaged by a publicist of I want to say like a minor block of like, they're gonna hurt me. I think it's HarperCollins. I want to say it's HarperCollins, but they sent me an arc of Empire of the Wild.
Same.
Empire of Wild, and I was like,
by Sherry Demeline.
Like,
yeah, I got one too. I was like, what?
Wait, who was it?
It's by Sherry Demeline.
Who was your publicist that sent you?
It started with an E.
Oh, I want to say it's Eliza. Okay, cool. So it was the same person. I was like, when they messaged me on Instagram, I was like, is this a scam?
Right? Are you emailing the right person?
I'm like, because it ended up in my like needs approval box, and I was like, this seems sketch. And I was like, hey, can we do this over on my personal, like my book email? And they were like, yeah, let's do that. And I was like, cool. And they're like, are there any other books?
Yeah, Eliza. So shout out to Eliza for sending the arc of.
My copy's like over there. Have y'all? I did get my copy, Brody.
Yeah, I did too.
Why? Were you thinking of a buddy read?
We need to get arcs of
Black
that
Sun?
one. What?
Black Sun?
Yeah, we need arcs of Black Sun. Just saying.
Yes. I pre-ordered that book so fast.
Hurry up and send them, y'all.
Right? Like, I'm seeing people already getting arcs of it. I'm like, how? Tell me how. What summoning circle do I have to do?
Well, we're supposed to talk to the aliens, remember?
Brody, you're going to end up going back through and rewatching this.
They're going to be like, what the hell is
Wheezy.
going on?
Yes, Wheezy, I agree with that. I want an arc of that so bad. I pre-ordered that so bad. I saw Brody.
I got one.
I'm so jealous. I think Brody has a copy too. I saw Brody talking about it.
I'll show you what I got so far. Hold on. Sorry if you see my fat butt.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay.
I saw Brody talk about it. And when I looked up the author, because I was curious, and then I found out they were Apache, I can't remember what I was doing, but I think I was doing something with food, and I think I just dropped everything.
Okay.
And so all I remember was like...
what I got. I got Empire of the Wild by Sherry DeMoline.
Yeah.
Isn't it gorgeous? Shout out to Eliza. I did get the arc. So thank you to Danny and Aaron for organizing this and to reaching out to Tugger Press and slapping them in the face.
Telling you, 20-foot long rim paddle.
Also,
have you seen the UK version of that too?
What? There's a UK version?
It shows the full face of the deer with the horns. It's gorgeous. It's so gorgeous.
But also I don't want to hear any shit about white people when they're like reading horror, being like, I can't find any good horror. Have you read Stephen Graham Jones? We have a whole read-a-thon about it. It's called Indigathon. Read it.
Oh my god!
Also, I got this. I can't remember which. I got this from Henry Holt and Co. Claiming the Land by Joel Sacco.
I've heard of that.
And I have not read it yet. I love graphic novels. Graphic novels are my shit. And I have not read this yet because I actually have just not been able to read lately. I've got a reading slump. So that was the one I got. And I got Ladso from the publisher for Darcy. And they were so kind. They included Eric Gansworth's Apple.
Didn't you talk about that one before? Isn't that
this one reminds me, because it's like in poetry form, it kind of reminds me of like The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo, but like native, because it's talking about certain stuff. But the other arcs that I did get were was this little poetry book from WSU Press.
Sorry, there have been people setting off fireworks in our neighborhood, and they've been like,
up with that? Like,
they've been doing it pretty close to some people's houses, and it's been a little concerning. And they've been doing it like really late at night. Like,
yeah, I've been hearing fireworks lately too, like even with the protest, like, and I don't know why, but there's fireworks, and then like I'll think that they're gunshots, and it scares the crap out of me. But
yeah.
So I got those two. I've never heard anything about Eric Gansworth before. This is a picture of him.
Hey, is Ronnie not here?
No. Why? Is he missing?
He's underneath the couch.
Oh, okay.
I look over at the couch and he's not there.
You scared me.
He's hiding underneath the fucking cushion.
Hello, husband of Michelle.
Everything's fine. Soren is not missing. Wheezy asked, when did we get our copies of All the Good Indians or Alatso?
I got my copy of Empire of Wild on Friday, I believe. If that's
I got mine on Thursday or Friday. But I got these in like March.
Also, I know Brody's in the chat, and Brody, I have to show you this. Oh, that glare. Oh God, the glare.
It was always bad, and there was some gunk on it.
Yeah, there's gunk on the back. So like whatever they did, there's like gunk right up here, and I'm so upset about it because now I gotta figure out how to get it off. But yeah, I wanted to show you this because I heard you talk about it, and I was like, possible buddy read.
I also have. I want to shout this copy out. I also got a copy of Winter Counts by David Heska Wambley Whedon, and this is actually coming out in August. Okay, so David is actually an enrolled citizen of the Shikanku. I want to say that. I know there's a thing with the G, but he told me he was from Rosebud because I was like, he reached out to me in October about this, and I was like, cool. When you get our ARC stuff, I would love to receive a copy. So I have a lot to do for Indigithon.
Teacher, I have a question.
Sorry, go.
So, what's Rosebud?
Rosebud, like reservation.
Oh, okay. I was like, this sounds familiar, but it's not registering with my brain. And yes, Brody, I was like, yes, buddy.
Brody is down for a buddy read. That is great. We need to coordinate.
I am such an easy person to snag for buddy reads.
Maybe because I'm actually pretty bad at it. I'm not gonna lie. I was supposed to read. I felt so bad. I was supposed to read something with RK Gold, and we were both gonna read a Crazy Horse book together. But I was like, can't do this. Sorry. I feel so bad. And then I was supposed to read Cruel Prince with this girl named Anna, and that never happened either because it was when my brother passed away. So.
See, I try to be flexible when I do my buddy reads. Okay, so here's the thing that people should know when I do buddy reads. One, I do like a full breakdown. I mainly put it within like a week, but I do it like how many chapters, if it's like in parts, how many X amount of pages you're supposed to read, things like that. However, the way I customize it, I just default to a week because most people can read within that time. However, I try to keep in mind reality doesn't always let us do what we want. So I try to leave it open for like a 2-week type deal. So if you feel like you have a lot of mental strain, or like if things end up coming up, you have that extra week of a cushion. So if you feel like you're falling behind, well, then you still have a whole nother week to read. So
I'm an entire month kind of person where I'm like, whenever you get back to me during this month is fine. Like I read Vampire Academy with somebody, and we were like, okay, for September, this is what we're going to read. And then they were like, I can't read this anymore because this is garbage. I was like, that's okay, fam.
It's
so bad. But it's
bad,
sad, and I love it.
It's so tedious. God, how many books are even in that series?
Well, and it's queer baiting too, because you're like, Arlissa and Rose, like, but then, she falls for freaking Dimitri. I'm like,
ends up with someone else, yeah.
And then people want to complain that it's like a teacher romance. It's like, no, he's only like 7 years older than her. It's still wrong, but he's only like X amount of years older than her.
Well, how old is she again?
God, I don't know, like 16. I don't know. He's at least 21. I know that. It's cringe. Yeah.
It is cringe. If it was 18, I could like rationalize it a little bit better, but like 16, like that's...
Yeah, you look back at a 16-year-old as a 28-year-old, I cannot imagine like chasing after a 16-year-old. I'm like, they're literally babies. What the fuck?
Like, just throw it out there, like I've had like nearly 30-something-year-olds coming after me, and that was like me being a 17-year-old. Like,
yeah.
Like, I even remember like when I first started because sometimes you have to do online dating, people. Let's just put it out there.
I had a
Sometimes
thing for
real
older
life
people.
is not the way we want it to be, and sometimes you have to do online dating. And so when I went on Plenty of Fish, I literally had a 40-something-year-old sex therapist try hitting me up and fishing for me, and I was like, I had just turned 18.
How about no
Yeah.
thanks?
Nah, I'm good. You're old
No
enough
thanks,
to be my
bud.
dad. Nah.
Gross.
So nasty. I went and
The
scratched
furthest,
myself.
the furthest I've ever gone was when I was 17 and I liked a 21-year-old. That was like the furthest. And even then, they were like, no,
No.
you are
Like,
young.
when you're
Stop.
18, call me. Like,
Yeah, pretty much. And when I was
yeah.
18, and then I made out with this person that was like 6 years older than me. That was like the furthest. But by then, we were consenting adults, and
Yeah.
consent always important.
Consent wins over everything else. I love how our like little discussion of one episode has like bloomed and grown from like opening all the bottles of like things.
We talked about the thing, and then we started talking about booktube, and then we started talking about like the things that the opportunities that we need to be getting. But it does tie back to booktube too. But it's like Indigenous peoples deserve so much more than we're given in this place, in this industry. However, right now for me, just not the time to talk about it. One, because I don't have all my questions in a row, and two, because I just don't. I was probably going to do it again in like August or September to actually
Yeah.
talk about it. But now that you want to talk about it, I think that we should both do like a town hall kind of thing.
Yeah.
And if Brody, if you want to join in on this too, let us know.
We can like rope Wheezy and
I was
Brody
going to do
into
a part
this.
2 to the being Indigenous on BookTube because it's an important issue.
Yeah.
And we deserve arcs too.
And
we deserve to be in live shows.
it opens the floor up. It'll open the floor up for different perspectives. Like that's the thing. It'll open that floor up for your perspective, my perspective, anyone else who like we can get in, because everyone has different perspectives. Like that's
And everyone has had different interactions with publishers and with other people.
Yeah.
Like Brody, they're at 1K. I'm only at 400. Now I checked 440, I believe.
Hi, I'm the ghost of Indigenous BookTube.
Yeah, Autumn is at a really sad 37. Deserves a lot more.
I mean, to be fair, like I don't post regular content or anything. So like a part of that's on me.
Because some of our favorite booktubers only post like once a month and they still have like 20K. Just
Yes,
saying.
but they had already established like their number count though. Like it took them like a decent amount. You share the link to your interview with streaming? Yes. Yes, I can. Let me go to my blog because I linked it in my reviews. I actually debated on whether or not I wanted to actually link that because a part of me was kind of like, I don't know if I should.
No, I want you to soak up the attention while you're here. So I have 440 subscribers, but only 6 people are here. What's up with that? Also, some people live in different time zones, so that's understandable. But at the same time,
that.
I just want to complain for a second. Just give me if you didn't know, I'm actually like a princess in real life. Like I am so spoiled. Like
Hello, Brigid.
Hi. A lot of people are like, "Oh my god, she's so sweet." I'm like, "Y'all don't know." I am sweet on this platform. I am sweet on Twitter. I'm sweet on Instagram. But in real life, if you get me mad, I will. My husband, he's like, your sigh is literally the most deadly thing. Because half the time I'm like,
oh,
and
you're
when
true
he
Gemini,
hears that,
aren't
he's
you?
like, no, what is happening? What is going on? We need to
You're
figure this
true Gemini, aren't you?
There's 2 sides to every coin, buddy.
Audrey Rose, I am posting the link in the chat. Just so you know, there's like some technical difficulties in the beginning of the interview, so there's that.
What, May? My doggo is barking at people.
Oh, you're fine. Like, for whatever reason, all the animals have like made themselves scarce while I'm doing this. I'm like, yeah, Brody's down for a live show.
Elijah! You should
Yes.
DM us, and then we can let you know.
Can-
Oh, okay. So I got a question from the thingy. Someone said, I'm interested in knowing what you think about how they blend in some indigenous beliefs into this. Oh, wait, no. JK, that was for something else, but, oh, okay. Just kidding. That was for something completely fucking different. I'm so sorry. I thought they were talking about this show. They're talking about Hannibal, which I'm watching right now. Ooh, Tippler Teaches just posted a thingy. Ugh. You should follow Megan Tippler Teaches on Instagram. She's amazing. I love the one where it was like, replace this with any of these.
Megan. Is she the one who's been posting a lot of the indigenous icons? I might be thinking of someone else.
Yeah, I think so. Hold on.
I fail.
It's okay. You don't fail.
Hello, Quargo. Wait, so yes, that is the same person?
Yes.
Yeah, I know things.
Yay! Yeah, there's a lot more people. Like, I love the replace this, which is touching Spirit Bear, with any of these, which is the outside circle, the mirror, if I ever get out of here, motorcycles and sweetgrass, and strangers. Oh yeah, Eric Gansworth. That's where I know him from. Is if I ever get out of here. I haven't read it, but I heard about it. Like I said last year during Indigenous, I just read kids' books because I was not in the mental space to read like a bunch of like painful accounts.
Yeah.
Like the group book that we both read was The Break by Katharina Vermette, and that is about a rape that happens in the little community, and that was a lot. I can usually only read like 2 or 3 sexual assault books before I'm like, no, can't do this anymore.
What are you doing, Dogo?
My doggo is a German Shepherd Black Lab mix, and so she barks her face off, and she is like, she acts like she's vicious, like she's just gonna like kill you on sight. But you get in there, you pet her a couple times, and she's literally a gooey mess.
I'm gonna make the chat go wild because I know people love corgis.
Puppers, aww.
Look, you're a superstar.
Aww. She don't care.
He really doesn't.
Oh, sorry.
It's all good. Like, everyone, like, when they see him, like, I guess he has more feminine features, maybe. But, like, everyone instantly thinks that he's a she right off the bat until they, like, see his, dingleberries.
Ooh. Weezy said, I think this Indigathana, I'm just going to read books by Native women. And Brody said, oh, little baby. But yeah, little baby.
He is a little baby.
Yeah, that sounds great.
We have not read it, Brigid. Actually, Michelle and I have been super secret talking about
possibly reading that on one of the months. Yes. The Break was so dark. Oh my god. Yeah, The Break was really dark. I was so like, oof. There was that one part where they talk about the at the hospital where they're talking about what was inside of her, and I was just like, oh my god. It's very graphic. So
apparently the author was like, how can I make this as graphic as possible?
How can I make this just as devastating as possible? But at the same time, it is like necessary.
Addressing an important topic.
I could barely handle the break, but the writing is amazing. Yeah, I was the exact same way. I passed it off to my mom. My mom read I think she read a chapter of that, and she was like, "No, I can't do it."
That would be amazing, Wheezy. Oh, why am I looking down there when you literally have it on the screen? Okay.
Because you just do.
I'm drunk. Clearly, I need to go to bed. I'm not
Brody,
drunk.
I'm definitely gonna message you about some of these ideas. Just
Yeah.
I got things. I got ideas now.
Michelle's been busy planning things. I don't think anyone in this chat knows. Michelle has been a very busy beaver.
See, you say that, but really, I've just been sitting on my ass playing Minecraft.
You know, I can't really judge because I just completed my cemetery in Animal Crossing and I feel so accomplished.
Yes. So all of my ideas when they come to me, I'm not ADHD because I'm not ADHD. I'm more of the sporadic thought because after having a child, you get this thing called mom brain where you have thoughts but they just go out the window sometimes. So I think of things and then boom. Like me and my friend, we read a story together. It's on Wattpad, and half the time I'm like, oh my god, what if we did this? What if this happened? What if this happened in our DMs? So half of the story is written in our DMs, like between ourselves.
So it was kind of like earlier when you were watching the episode and you were like, I have so many questions.
Yeah, when I was DMing you, and I was like, what the frick?
What the French toast?
Yeah.
I love it. It's great.
So half the time I'm like, it's all sporadic thoughts where I'm trying to figure out exactly what is going on.
Years to my life. Oh, I shouldn't do that. No need to make this like ASMR.
I heard your memory changes after you give birth, so I could see that. Yeah, my brain is just mashed potatoes. Like when I try to think of things, I have to write it down, which is why I have a planner. Where it is, I don't know right now.
When you need it the most, it's gone. But when you don't want it, it's like right there in your face.
I have 3 different planners. I have a actual planner, a reading planner, and then a reading stats planner.
I mean, organization is a very good thing.
I just have so many thoughts going on in my brain sometimes.
I have countless notebooks and I only use like 2 of them. One is to like write down all the buddy reads I have and then have the breakdown. And then the other one is like taking like official notes. So it literally looks like chicken scratch on like one of those drawing sketch pads that are more like
this is my July layout. It's
ooh.
You can sense a theme.
Ooh. I can sense a theme. Why is the bread on fire? Wait, is that fire?
No. I can't believe you.
Oh, it's Pudge with a pamper and jelly sandwich.
Yeah, and then
I couldn't tell. I should be wearing my glasses, but like, well, glasses don't exactly fix sight loss, so.
It's Indigenous Disney. For my July bullet journal. And the movies Disney, I have
actually
Coda.
Oh.
And then
yes.
Stitch Elvis.
Yes.
I managed to find this graphic of Nani holding Stitch with a book. Yeah.
I just want one thing.
Hmm.
I want to find a sticker with Stitch with the bandana over his head and the back cape.
Oh my god, yes! Okay, I gotta find my other... If I find my other bullet journal, I'll show you what I was...
I am vengeance. Doing. I am the night. I am Stitch. That would be hilarious. Just be like, I am Stitch. Not even Nani is underappreciated. She's
She really
very
is.
underappreciated.
She worked her ass off to try to provide for Lilo, and
Yeah.
when they had the whole thing where the social worker was like, "We're
Cobra
gonna take her
Bubbles.
away," I was like, "What the fuck?"
Your name's Bubbles, but your knuckles say Cobra.
And for June, it was Pride. So there's
Marceline.
and then there's Cheddar and Arlo, and then Valkyrie and yeah. And then
We love to see it.
I have Mazikeen and Lucifer, because Mazikine's pansexual. And then I have Valkyrie and that there.
Me coming up to my camera looking like a full-on gremlin.
This one I wish I could just rip out because, it's from Harry Potter. And then I have, I still love them, even though, it's not the best climate right now. But they scrapped like their first 4 episodes, and now they're going to redo it because of everything that's currently happening. So I still love them. It's just,
Yeah.
it ain't great. And then I have Katra and She-Ra. Megasonic Teenage Warhead and her girlfriend. And then I have Biddle and Jack from Czech.
I love them so much.
So cute. And then this layout I did for Queer Readathon. This whole thing started when I wanted to read it, and I saw Li Shang, because Li Shang is a bisexual icon. So I have this. This was my little checkerboard thing. And then I have, this is Mazikeen. This is Ren and Lee from Girls of
Paper and Fire.
Then I have Lee and Mulan. And then I have Magnus and Alex.
My favorites. Look at my precious beans.
Right. And that was it. But then in my reading journal, I have to find that one now.
It's hiding.
It's seriously, they do. But also because I craft a lot, so I always have stuff just like
everywhere.
Yeah.
Piles of all the goodies and magic that happens.
I'm a chaotic mess.
I mean, aren't we all, though?
No. Some people have it all together.
On the inside, they're chaotic messes. They'll just never admit it.
I doubt that. Where did it go?
Yes, Brigid, yes. I don't know what's hiding.
Shang is our bi Disney prince.
He is.
I will find my journal. I know it is around here somewhere. Where did it go?
It's not today.
Not today, Junior.
Exactly. Oh, God.
I'll find it. When I find it, I'm going to show you because... Oh, wait. It's right here.
It's like right in front of my face.
Is it, though? Wait. No.
You were deceived.
I am not there today. Where did I put it? I'm scared.
Why are you scared?
Because it's missing.
Yeah, that's not good.
Or it's right here. In front of my face.
Oh, so I knew it.
Okay.
Ha 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 ha.
I have a Stranger Things sticker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spouse is like
okay.
super obsessed with it. I'm like, meh. I don't know how to explain it. It's I can tolerate it, but it's not like...
It's okay if it's not your flavor.
It's not like my ride or die. Like,
I didn't mean to glare you.
Like, I can sit and watch episodes and whatnot, but it's not like a ride or die thing.
Oh, and then for June, I have Nico and somebody help me out here. It's Solangelo from Rick Riordan's books. Brody knows. Brody, help me.
Brody does know.
Are you still here? And then I have Bucky and Captain America.
Yes. Oh my god.
I
That
believe
was like
they are
the only
in-
one who
like,
like ships that.
y'all cannot tell me that they were straight. Just saying. Bucky Buchanan is not straight, okay? He's just not. And then, so I still have another picture of Biddle.
I love them. Have you read the second one yet?
No, not yet.
Oh my god, you're
And then I
gonna
was
know.
lazy, so I just printed it. I scanned it and printed it because I was like, whatever.
I mean, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
And that was it. That was like the 2 pages that I have pictures in. But I have a lot of pictures that are going to be left from the Moana and the other part. I work for Punk Post, and they, for my anniversary, they sent me a zipper pouch.
I don't have anything cool like that, but the only thing I can really show is like my Animal Crossing stickers that I ordered.
Well, my printer is currently living its best life because I'm printing things off. I got to get through my arc so I can get back to the Ryer divorce. Oh, Will Solis. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Oh my god, those stickers are so cute.
Oh, it's not over yet.
Aww. Cute.
Animal Crossing. That's
So,
all
yeah,
I have going for me.
I have some Moana images, some Lilo images. I have this one of Brother Bear.
Brother Bear was
Sitka be looking like a whole snack. Like, I'm sorry, but I have never met a Native American man in, like, around me that I actually crush on that's around. But, like, other, like, I was saying that I have a crush on Zon somebody. They played Matthias in Longmire, and oh my god, he just, like, he's like 50, but he's cute. I have Pua.
You like those gray foxes.
I mean, yeah, but like, I just like men with long hair that braid it very well, you know? Like, then I have Lilo.
Yes.
So you'll see it when I put it together. I saw the one thing I did not like. Okay, just I need somebody to agree with me, but I do not like images of Moana and Maui like kissing or like together, like as a couple. Like, I like the ones where they're like, you know, where they're like close or where they're like,
yeah,
hugging.
I think that's why
But
so many people liked it the way it was. Not just because Moana was such
like, this is cute, right? But I've seen some where they're like kissing.
Like, it's a ship. Like, they ship
And
up.
like, no, they're like cousins.
They're
bro.
like bros.
They're friends. They're
Yeah.
only friends. I don't get why people ship them together. He's a freaking demigod, and like Loki.
He can have anyone.
Yeah, I mean, he's a demigod. Yeah, he was kind of. Well,
Yeah.
I think I always thought of him as like a big brother type.
Yeah, like that one guy friend, and we all know what we're talking about. That one guy friend in your group of friends who's like the mature one, but also is like really childish at the same time. But when they have like those instant moments of knowledge, it's like, bam. It's like Thor's hammer coming down. It's like, wow. Really makes you think.
I kind of had a friend like that in high school, but I definitely had a lot of those in college.
Yeah.
And I kind of hated some of those because you notice how they treat you, and
Like the little
like
sister.
outside people would see you guys. Like, I had this friend in college, and we spent a lot of time together, but we never like he was very modest, and so he never like hugged me or showed any kind of physical affection. And I am a full on, like, I need that physical,
Hugs,
I need
hold
that
hands,
cuddle.
handshakes,
Yeah, I need all that.
give me
Right.
a high
And so,
five.
there was this one girl, she would see how he talked to me and like how we were around each other, and she's like, oh my god, he likes you. And I'm like, but no, stop it. Okay, he's just my friend. And so I emailed him one time and I was like, hey, so like we've been friends for a while and I really want to hug you. Can I hug you? Can I show you physical affection? Because I'm dying. And for Valentine's Day, I gave him a cookie and I left, and then I came back later and he's like, hey, so I got your email and I've been thinking it over, and then he gave me a hug.
That's the best.
And I was like, oh. And then there was another time where there was like snowy, and we had to go to the commons, and we had to walk from our dorm to where the common part was. And so he was standing in front of us, and I was holding onto his shoulder, and my friend was holding onto my shoulder, and we were walking through the freaking snow because he was the one that had the bigger feet and I had the smaller feet, and she had the smallest feet. And so we were just stepping in each other's shoe prints.
That's great.
So yeah, I don't understand why people ship Moana and Maui. It's just weird to me.
Yeah.
So I saw like a couple pictures of them kissing. I'm like, but no.
No, not today. I'm
No,
good.
thank you.
Thanks.
That's like a big brother relationship where they're like the more mature one. I just can't.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't. Like, I just see him too much as like the best friend, the annoying best friend. Like the one who's like,
The one that gets under your skin,
yeah,
but
that.
like loves you to death.
Yeah, like the annoying big brother that looks after their kid sister, basically.
I do have a big brother like that, but he's single Pringle. So if anybody wants a boyfriend, my brother is single. Just saying.
I love how you're just like secretly trying to hook your brother up.
He's not a bad looking man, okay?
Oh my goodness.
He's always talking about how he's single. It's like, bruh, you could just go out there and get. He's like, yeah, but I have crippling mental issues. I was like, that's true.
So he needs someone who's like, no, never mind. I'm not going to go down that road.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about hypotheticals for my brother. That'd be weird.
I was going to be like, so he needs someone who's like kind of dark and morbid in a way, but also like a total cinnamon roll.
If you're goth and you want a big, fluffy native boyfriend, hit me up and I'll link you to on Facebook or whatever.
We went from being a live show about an episode in a TV series to talking about a whole bunch of cans of important things to like rambling on about the book community to like declining deeply into like an apology to like escalating into showing stickers to like suddenly becoming any dating app.
Yep. That's where we are now.
We're either running on like lack of sleep or like something. I don't even know.
No, you know that TikTok where it's like, hey there, remember that time you showed me love and affection? Oop, I'm here to stay now. I got feelings. That's how it works. Something. And I'm like, that's me. You let me in your friend group. You let me in your heart. I want to get in there. There's no way you're getting rid of me now. I got feelings. You fucked up. That's just how it works now.
So basically, like, you're the abscess that like just randomly develops on someone's shoulder or something that comes out of nowhere. And it's just like, I'm here forever.
I would think of myself as like Winston from New Girl.
I don't even know how to respond to that. Well, one, I love Winston, but like, I was thinking more along the lines of Schmidt. Why do you act so surprised? And the reason why I say that is,
Oh my god, I am a Schmidt! I think I'm a Winston, but I'm a Schmidt. What?
oh my god, bring
Damn
it back
it!
Autumn. But no, like, the way he feels about Cece, though.
Yeah.
And that's how, like, despite all the Schmidt things that Schmidt does, I see
When he was engaged.
Winston kind of like the sad, lonely guy who's sitting on the bench at the prom dance with no one to dance with.
I went to prom with the homecoming king, so can't relate.
That's how I kind of see Winston, and I don't see you like that. I see you
I'm a
as someone
Schmidt. I'm
who just
sorry.
like,
I'm a
yeah,
Schmidt. I'm a Schmidt that gives that wants to be a Nick.
yeah, there we go.
There's sometimes when I just don't want to care, but I do care. I
There you
care
go.
too much. I care
Yeah.
too much.
Yes.
But like,
But
yeah,
you're more organized than Nick. You at least have a decent idea of what you want, and that's where the Schmidt comes in.
yeah. I
And
want
then
to
the
make
way
it
you
happen.
care about people. Like Schmidt, the way he loves Cece, like, the one good thing Schmidt has for him, despite all of his flaws, is the way he loves Cece.
I just love how nothing happened between him and Jess. Like, that was from the start where he was just like, no.
And they're just like
I think he
weird,
did
awkward
wonder-
friends together.
Yes.
Like, we can be friends, but that's it. That's where I draw the line.
My least favorite person was probably Coach. Coach was an asshole.
He was!
Like, unapologetically an asshole.
And his treatment of, like, Winston? Poor
Yeah.
Winston!
I felt so bad for him.
At times, it almost felt like he was gaslighting Winston. And I'm just like...
He was.
And I'm just...
But at the same time, it was kind of like, well, there can't be two black people on this show, so one of us has to go, kind of a thing. It felt like sometimes where it was like, no, just give us Winston. Coach, get the fuck out. Nobody wants you. Just saying. Like, I know there's some hardcore Coach fans out there, but I did not like him. He was a douchebag.
Yeah, he was like... Do I
The
dare
only
say
time,
it?
the only time he was fun was when he was at the school with Jess. That
Yeah!
was like, it was like, ha, we finally get like the Coach personality versus
Yeah!
like him just being mean to Winston all the time.
Yeah, like, it was so nice to see him, I guess, kind of like really show who he is under everything. I mean, granted, there are some like jerks who are kind of like that and whatnot, where you
Like when
really,
he was sensitive to Jess, like when Jess would cry and he'd be like, no, we're not doing that. Yeah. But I mean, I had a love-hate relationship with Cece, not gonna lie. 'Cause I was like, why are you doing this to Schmidt? He's literally like the cutest, most fluffy weirdo. And you should just squish him because he's precious.
so we just got into like some BDSM there. So
Oh yeah,
let's
that's right. He liked that.
let's just move along past that.
He does like when she's mean to him, not gonna lie.
I mean, for some people, that's a kink. Like, not my cup of tea, but you know, if that's
Everybody
you,
likes
you do
their
you, boo boo.
thing.
Yep, you do you, boo boo. You go get that cupcake.
Kind of like in Brooklyn Nine-Nine when Amy is a jerk to Peralta about binders or something like that, and he's like, "Oh my god, I like that. Be mean to me harder." And I'm like, "Okay."
Comes out of
Like
left field.
that was the equivalent of choke me daddy, but like in Brooklyn Nine-Nine where it had to be
In a
like,
more subtle way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that show though. But yeah, who'd you go to prom with? Because I actually did go with the Homecoming King, but you know what's funny about that whole thing? Is that he only went with me because I asked. Otherwise, he was not planning on going at all. He's a farm kid. our class only nominated him for Homecoming King because we all liked him.
So, I never went to my school prom.
What? Did you ditch prom to go do stupid
Actually,
stuff?
no. The girl I was seeing,
Ghosted you?
decided to, prom was the night to cheat on me and showed up with a different woman.
Well, fuck her.
Yeah, so I was like,
You're a catch, Autumn. Wow.
Yeah, and my ex-girlfriend was like, well, we can go and we can be like the best couple there. You can wear your tux. And I was like, no, let her be her stupidness. Why are you making that face?
I don't know. Low-key want to punch her, but...
Yeah, well, I mean, she was in the closet for the longest time and then kind of became a butch lesbian. I mean, like...
We had some of those.
The stereotypical.
There was one girl that was like that in the Aberdeen community in high school, and everybody, like, she got around because everybody knew who she was because I was like, that girl, blah, 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 and they'd be like, oh, yeah, I hate her. And I'm like, everybody's got strong feelings.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I didn't come out in the closet. I didn't come out of the closet until I was like 22, something like that. But I was deep in the closet. It did not show up. Like I was gay, you know, but it did not happen until one day my friend put, like, as a joke, you know how there's always that stupid thing, as a joke, put her hand on my thigh and like slid it up. And I was like, oh no, I got feelings.
It did suck, Brigid, but you know, some things came to light after that, and you know, like I'm not sorry one bit. It came to light that she ended up remodeling her entire bedroom after my own, and there was some really disturbing stuff that the girl that she decided to cheat on me with found and discovered, and yeah, so it felt like I escaped like a possible sociopath.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
Thank goodness you have the partner you do now.
Yeah.
Partner. Snap
Yeah.
partner.
Yeah. Like, some really disturbing stuff came to light. I'm like, ooh, this feels like if I would have stayed with you and if I would have married you,
I would have got Ted Bundy'd.
Yeah, either Ted Bundy'd or like
Jeffrey
put
Dahmer.
in a glass box with like holes drilled into it to just like live my life in.
So like Jeffrey Dahmer Ted Bundy 2.0 being Joe from You.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, see, I lived in Whitetown, USA, a small town, 300 people. So I remember he was a homecoming king. He got crowned. We were friends. I had the biggest, giganticest crush on him because he was just nice to me. You know how, like, the low, like, chubby girl, no friend standard, where you're like, you just latch onto the first person that's nice to you. And I just thought that he was like the king to my queen, you know? And I went up to him, and my friend was behind him, like, by like 20 feet. And so she was like directing the whole thing. She's just like, look at me. Don't look at him. Look at me and just say it. I was like, okay. So she's like way back there, and I'm looking at her, but technically looking at him too. And I was asking him out to prom. I was like, I know that you don't like me like that because I did kiss him once. And he was like, no, we're not. And I was like, so I know we're just friends, but I was wondering if you maybe wanted to go to prom as friends. I don't have a date. I don't know if you have a date. And he was like, well, let's just see what I'm doing that day, and maybe I will go. And I was like, okay, that's fine. That's cool. You know, whatever. So I had to have like a backup plan because I was like, he's going to crush my heart and I'm going to be devastated. But No, his mom was like, "Oh, you have a date to homecoming? Okay, here you go. Here's like $500. Go ahead, go." And so we did the whole thing. We he was like, "Okay." He's like, "I'm gonna take you to town to Aberdeen for the day, and we're gonna go pick up my tux." And I was like, "Okay." So technically, we went on a date.
A day, yeah.
Yeah, he paid for my meal, and we actually talked, and I actually got to like know him as a human being, and that was nice. And so I was like, he's still nice. I think he actually does like me because he kind of seemed like he did like me, even though he said he didn't want to be, involved. And then we went to prom, and people were like, "Oh my god, you guys are so cute together." I'm like, "Bro, we're just friends." Unless he says otherwise, we are just
Yeah.
friends. Meanwhile, my other friends were in their cars getting drunk, having sex, that kind of stuff, the stupid like prom night stuff. And they gave me they scared the shit out of me. They were like, "So are you and him gonna have sex?" And I was like, "What? We have to have sex? That's a requirement."
I hate that stuff.
I was
Like,
terrified. I was terrified. Never had any kind of like.
I would be too. And for them to like come out of nowhere and just be like, "So are you gonna do it?" Like,
Meanwhile, they were the ones that like skipped Grand March and shit. And so I was like, okay. So we went to Grand March, we did our thing, and we're dancing. We danced the whole night. He was like, "Hey, so do you need a ride home? Do you need anything?" I was like, "No, I'm actually going to after prom." And he's like, "Oh, what's that?" And I was like, "We're gonna go to the Y and we're just gonna hang out." And he's like, "Okay, I'll do that." And he went to after prom with me, and I won like something or another. But he like, even though he was bored as hell, he just stayed there and hung out so I could have a good time. And I was like,
the
this is
real MVP.
he really was. And then he was like, do you need a ride home? Are you going to be okay? And I was like, no, I'm staying over at my friend's house. The same friends that skipped prom, basically. They went to after prom too, but stayed over at their house. Everybody got drunk. I had to get my dumbass up the next morning because I had to go to a girls' state luncheon, and then that exact same day I had to pack up all my shit so I could go to this journalism thing that I was talking about earlier. So it was just like prom, girls' state luncheon, like the conference. It was
All
a
the
weird
things.
week. Yeah,
It
was
sounds
all
like it.
things.
I just realized we've been going for like 3.5 hours.
When we get wow, we're one of those people where we get talking and we just talk forever.
Yeah.
My friends and I decided to just get high on prom night instead. LOL.
I mean,
Everybody does their
do
thing.
do it. Mm-hmm.
But it was
Message.
important to me, and also my parents were there, and it was really cute because I was like, "Hey, do you want to like meet my parents?" And he was like, "Okay." And so then when we went to go walk up to meet my parents, he like grabbed onto my hand and he was holding my hand, and I was like, "This is so cute," and like, "You're a soft boy and I don't deserve you."
Oh, we love a secret cinnamon roll.
He was a cinnamon roll. Yeah, I totally missed the main show. Sorry.
Oh,
It is
it was
okay.
chaos anyway, Brigitte. Like,
You weren't at mine, so it's totally okay.
we're
Like,
gonna have to like retitle this, like discussing Hangar 1, UFO Files Season 2, Episode 5 / rambles in
everything.
chat. Yeah, and everything else.
I'm gonna go
Oh
back and
God,
watch the
Brigitte.
chaos. Oh my god. Okay, so you're gonna have
It's
to.
chaos.
Yeah, because we
The
watched
mistakes
the
were
episode.
made.
It's on Hulu. I'm never watching that shit again. That was donk.
It is also on YouTube for free if you do not have Hulu. So you
Loki
can
want
literally
to
look
go
it up.
back. Loki want to add somewhere in a bio or somewhere and pin it and be like, "Did you know that we can? Did you know that Native Americans can summon aliens?"
Where's Wheezy?
Actually,
Wheezy had the best response.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, no, it was a native book. warrior that was like, tell them I need some more blue flower.
Yeah, that
After
one
you
was
summon
great
them, tell
too.
them I need another bluebird flower.
Okay, so
And then
for anyone who wants to watch the episode and doesn't have Hulu, I have just put a link in the chat that you can go and watch for free on YouTube. But yeah, it's all a bunch of baloney basically, and it's a lot. We unpack a lot of.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
Yeah. It really was, like, damn.
Just to reinforce though, we are gonna read, watch.
Firesong, you're holding the book upside. So our July pick is Firesong. We are going to be watching the movie and reading the book and comparing the book and the movie. You look like a ninja. You look like a ninja. The best kind of ninja. Hi. Do I look like one of those garden gnomes now?
No.
Am I officially a garden gnome?
If you're a garden gnome, I'm a garden gnome.
Like if you're a bird, I'm a bird, only garden gnome. Yeah, so this is our July pick. What we decided? July 26, 2020?
July. Yeah. And then if it gets to be too much to me, then we'll figure something else out. We're also going to be doing a questionnaire. We're going to put it up on our Twitters and let people ask us things. And then we're going to do like a little thing-a-ling. And then Brody also said that they would want to get in on this and answer questions too. So
yeah. So what were we thinking? I think we were like spitballing like within the first week or so of July.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. So
it depends on when they have to work too. So
yeah. So we'll probably work towards work around Brody's schedule and whatnot. So
yeah, I can do literally any day.
Same, pretty much same. Evenings would probably be best during the weekday for me, but yeah, I can usually. But that's kind of what we've been spitballing. We've also been like throwing things around for August, so that is currently in the works as well. So we'll keep you posted on that.
It's gonna be a good time.
It is gonna be a good time.
Truly.
Yeah. And if y'all have stuck with us for this long, then y'all have realized Michelle and I are freaks, messes, chaotic messes.
We're both Geminis, so
there you go.
Disaster mashed potatoes right there.
Pretty much. Oh, I know. I got a better one. Sharknado.
The good kind of mashed potatoes, not the kind with the skins in them.
No, that has to be red skin potato salad.
Or with like lumps. Or like, the buffet food that's all touching. Nope, can't do that.
Nope. Oh yeah, there's like a whole segment in there about us like talking about food touching and stuff. Yeah, it's just chaos.
That was before we went live. Remember, because I was trying to go live and it ended up being a disaster.
Okay. So that might not be in there.
Yeah, the food touching is not. Remember, because we started talking about the food industry and how gross things were. If you want to talk about how gross things really are,
oh God,
The Jungle. That's a classic. I read that in AP English, and I was like, I am literally terrified. Like, I didn't eat meat for a very long time after reading that. I was like, this is disgusting. I can't do this anymore.
I don't want to. No.
It's just bad. Okay, just don't ever read it.
I don't wanna. I mean, yeah, no. No thanks. Not today. But yes, we are going
whoever's been here since minute 1, y'all are real MVPs. Y'all really sticking through it.
Yeah. I think, well, aside from me, there was like
We had like 8 people.
Well, you have to take away one because I literally have in the other tab our window.
So technically we have 5 people here.
Well, I think 2 people left.
Yeah.
Or 1 person left or something. Because we had 8. If we exclude that, then we're 7. If we're down to 5, that means 2 people left. But yes, we need to conclude
Well, Connor
because
probably went to sleep at some point.
Connor should have gone to bed a lot sooner because 3 a.m. is a long time. Early time. But
Yeah, that's a lot.
yes. But we shall conclude for now because I have been holding my bladder for like 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
And when you have endometriosis, you can't do that.
Already.
Yeah. But Fire Song is the July pick. If you want to join us, go order the book, go order the movie.
The movie's on Amazon Prime too, I think.
Yes. So
it used to be on Netflix, I guess, because it's part of Wolf Video or whatever. And there were a lot of Wolf videos on there on Netflix.
hello, welcome. Sorry you're coming in at the end of our stream.
Ooh, sorry.
Maybe.
Don't worry, you can
Unless
go
you've been
all the
here
way
for
to the
like
back. You can go all the way to the beginning and watch the disaster unfold from there.
oh jeez.
Because it's a lot, pal.
Jeez. Me and the things that
Are you posting this? Because I missed it. Sorry.
Yes, it will be posted.
Yeah.
Me really showing my chaotic ass.
Thanks for showing up, though. We really appreciate you.
We do. We really do.
You should definitely subscribe to Autumn because they deserve more. She deserves more subscribers than 37. This is some sad stuff.
I mean, to be fair, I'm not that active on YouTube. My blog is where I'm mostly at. Blog and Bookstagram.
Alrighty. Well, I probably gotta go check on Soren too.
Yes,
Looking forward to the next live show. If you guys decide to do live shows for some of the arcs and books you mentioned above in the chat, that would be awesome too.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
If we could rope Brody or Wheezy and we could talk about the Only Good Indians.
Definitely.
Because that addresses some important
maybe see if Danny wants to do it too.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if she's gonna be available. Well, maybe not right now. Maybe not right now because I know she's got some stuff going on.
Maybe towards Indigathon.
Yeah, maybe.
Like I have a lot of stuff that I want to do for Indigathon. Not only like with Brody, but also with you.
Yeah. I promise I'll be less chaotic and less nervous and like word vomiting throughout the entire live stream. I think that's also.
Yeah, I'm just a nervous being. It's okay.
Yeah. But at least you weren't like such a nervous wreck that you probably hurt somebody. I still feel bad. I'm still feeling. It's like when you step on your animal's tail and they make that really bad sound. Like, and then you're just like the guy in the sand, like.
I don't remember that.
Hold on.
No, I know what you're talking about, but the guy
Yeah.
in the sand, what's that?
It's a meme. Someone took the guy who's kind of has like the faux hawk or whatever, and he's walking alongside the beach, and he's like, he's got the grain of sand, and then he's just like, and then someone turned into a meme when you step on your animal's tail, and they make that really loud yelp.
Yeah. For me, it's more so like, damn, I wish I could go back like just 2.5 seconds and not fuck it up.
Yeah, like little. Why? No, don't. Okay. The chaos is beginning. That's why, because it's almost midnight. And
what?
the little. Yeah, So
Oh,
here it's like 11:53.
well, we're definitely going to schedule this just a skosh bit earlier.
Well, now that you know
Now I know
how
what
it,
time zone you live in.
yeah,
I
East
did not.
Coast side.
I did not think that we would be going for this long because
I mean, we got to talking, and like
we really did.
that's the problem. Like once you get started on like such an important topic, you just kind of like spiral,
See, that's
and
why we
then
need just a separate booktube town hall kind of thing.
like
Because
I
I will
personally,
say it again for the 5th time in this video, we do not get enough representation on booktube. We deserve the likes. We deserve the subscribes. We deserve the good feedback. We deserve the arcs. We deserve to be invited to live shows. We deserve these things. This is not something that should just be unfreely given to other people other than us.
yeah,
We
I
are not
personally,
invisible. We are here.
I partially blame myself for the spiraling.
I could spiral too.
That's because I roped you in. I started going down the spiral. I was like, nope, if I'm going down, Michelle's going with me.
Well, I'm a Schmidt, so I am.
Oh my
a
God,
Schmidt.
does that mean I'm Nick?
No.
Or does that mean I'm Jess
Maybe it means you're Jess.
when Jess is being, oh God.
You know when she gets emotional? Remember when she gets her period and she watches Dirty Dancing and eats chocolates? Did I just call you out?
Oh no. See, someone mentioned it to me briefly before in the past and I didn't think anything of it. They're like, you're my Jess to my Cece. And I didn't really think much of it. And then I was like, it's kind of been in the back of my mind like a little tiny grenade, and you just detonated the grenade, and I'm just like, oh my
Sorry.
God, I am the Jess.
I want to see more people, Native people, have a presence, a larger presence. Yes.
That would
we
be
are
nice,
here.
Brand.
And you know, the system is already working against Indigenous youths because it's harder for Indigenous youths to read and to have that reading comprehension because there's also like, you know, shit like dyslexia, dyscalculia,
Yeah.
sensory delays, disorders, things like that. Reading is a bitch for some people. And I hate the fact that there's so many people that are like, oh, you have to read 17 books in a month. Like, bro, I'm just having problems getting through the one.
Yeah.
I mean, I can read pretty great, but like,
yeah,
it ain't it right now.
Yeah. Like I don't even often talk about, for those of you who have stayed and for any of you who actually do follow me on like my main social media platforms, I don't talk about it enough. And I briefly mentioned it like somewhere earlier in the video. I do wear glasses, but it doesn't really help because the stigma, there is like a genetic issue on my father's side. Yeah, that would be awesome. I would love an arc.
Yeah,
On
I've
my
been
father's
seeing some
side.
bigger booktubers getting arcs, and I'm like, where the fuck are our arcs?
Yeah. But yeah, just to kind of like spin off of what you were saying about like the disorders and whatnot. My dad said like there's a stigma with our eyes where the eyesight starts to deteriorate, and actually in my right eye the stigma is so bad like the eyesight is like slowly deteriorating, so it makes reading like really hard and strenuous. Like even right now I can see what y'all are saying, but like if I'm not like up in it or like really focusing, it's like blurred. It's like almost non-existent.
Francesca says, was here since Michelle was showing her book journal. YouTube doesn't do justice to POC. I normally read paranormal, romance, fantasy. Too scared to read horror. I get that. But like, the more better term is BIPOC, is Black, Indigenous, and then people of color, because I just think that's I think it's a better term personally.
It's
because
more inclusive.
Indigenous peoples exist.
Yeah, it's more inclusive.
For sure. Definitely. Instead of like saying POC, you're like, what the fuck does that mean?
I mean, the problem with POC is it's too broad of a term.
Yeah,
That's the
it is.
problem. It's a broad term, whereas how'd you say it? BIPOC?
BIPOC.
BIPOC, there we go. BIPOC is
And this too, not all Indigenous people think of themselves as POC.
yeah. I mean, I'm Apache, and look at me. I'm
And we
white.
actually did talk.
White
We
as a
talked about
ghost.
that too. How there is colorism within the community, and colorism, erasure, and things like
Yeah.
that.
That is a larger topic that we may address at a later time. We kind of ended up spiraling, but
We totally spiraled. We talked the first 45 minutes was about the actual thing, and then the rest of this has been not
spiraling.
Complete tornado.
Like, prime example, we were supposed to kind of like go off to bed, and we're just like all things again.
I'm bad at goodbyes. I'm like,
Me too.
Native peoples, we don't say goodbye. We just say
see you soon, or like see you later. Like,
you say, my uncle, he hated saying goodbye, because if you say goodbye, it means that
forever.
You're going forever.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I'm just like, later, see ya, I'm out.
Peace.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Michelle told me I had to yeet at least once in the video. I've yeeted so many times in this video.
20 times.
Mm-hmm. She told me a yeet, so I delivered.
Did we say what that was? It's called BIPOC.
Yeah, BIPOC. BIPOC.
There, I put it in the thingy.
Yep.
There we go.
That's the best term that you can use.
Because it actually acknowledges Indigenous peoples.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like.
Yeah, that's kind of what I like too. Not many people, and this is just opening up a whole nother can of worms. Not many people want to acknowledge the I and the BIPOC. Many people forget it, and you can't just do that because Indigenous people are in so many shades of color. Like white passing, you have Afro-Indigenous, you have regular Indigenous people. Like, you have to acknowledge it.
Like Maori people and Indigenous Australian people.
Aboriginal. Yeah.
So there is that too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It just opens that whole.
There is a whole can of worms. I can't remember who it was, but when the no problem. When the chat was opening for when everyone was doing their Being Black on BookTube, I can't remember who it was, but they also talked about colorism and things that happen between the lighter skinned versus darker skinned.
Yeah.
I have not met a darker skinned Native in a very long time.
Same. I think Ro is the first one that I've actually really met in a hot minute. I think most of the ones that I've kind of met have been through powwows and whatnot.
My brother is really dark, but he also has what's the word? I think it's called vertiligo, where it's the splotching of the skin. So he has that. But my grandma had that too, and he has that. And then I've seen a Native with which is not acknowledged enough in anywhere, and that's port wine stains. Yeah. I always it's called Sturdy-Weber syndrome, where it's port wine stain on the face or the body or wherever, and it causes there's some neurological issues with that too.
Interesting.
Yeah, I dated somebody with Sturdy-Weber syndrome.
I'll have to look more into that and read up on it.
The only time I've ever seen it in a book was called Love at First Sight, and it's about a blind guy who gets a surgery that could bring back his sight, and the girl that he likes or has been talking to has a port wine stain on her face, and a lot of people call her Batman because it's like on her eyes, and so she gets teased a lot, and that's the only time I've seen that. But like it's not that great of a book. It's okay, but like that was the first time I'd ever seen it in a book.
I mean, the fact that it's still out there, like, it's putting the representation out there, though. Like, that's the important part.
Yeah. And then
oh, you're good, Francesca. We're happy to help.
It's all good.
Yeah.
As long as you're trying, that's what counts.
Yeah.
I was gonna look something up and then I forgot what it was.
Well, let's wrap this up because it's almost going on 4 hours, and I'm not going to go into details about that, but yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, I need to check on Soren / I was going to eat and then I didn't, so I need to heat it up now, and then I need to check on Soren because he's probably, it's like the wild, wild west out in the living room right now. He's watching Sesame Street. I heard like a bang bang somewhere in there. The refrigerator door is open, so it's time to go.
Chaos. Yes.
Yeah, I know he's okay because he's not crying. He's not being, there's no bonking happening.
Yeah.
There's no boofing from the dog. So I know everything's okay. It's just, it's chaos in the living room.
Yeah.
Aw, thanks. He is cute. I would let him in here, but he's just wearing a diaper, so we're not going to put him on the YouTubes. Sometimes I feel like I'm raising that child from the wild thornberries. Seriously, I love him to death.
What was his name? Donnie?
Yeah.
Yeah, Donnie. Yeah.
Because he's got a developmental delay, so no, we're not forming a whole lot of words except hi and no and mom.
That takes time.
And occasionally signing more.
So, time.
Yeah.
But, all right, everybody.
We're finally
we are finally ending the live after almost 4 hours of like streaming.
Yeah.
We will.
So, I don't even know what we're gonna link. Oh, you should link that Stephen Graham Jones interview underneath. We're gonna let you know on Twitter what we're reading / watching, so keep out for that. And go subscribe to Autumn. That's all I can really say.
Well, I do not have control over the description. However, I can resend the interview through the chat because we always need more Stephen Graham Jones content.
Yeah, we do.
There we go. So if you want to check out the interview, there is the interview. If you missed the majority of the live, go ahead, go back. It's chaos. It's a lot of nervous.
It's a lot. It's going on 4 hours. Whoever watches this is a brick.
Y'all are troopers. For those who have stuck since the beginning, it's but
alrighty. I'm gonna end this broadcast. So we'll see you later. Bye bye.
Goodbye. Bye.